Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet on MyTV Charleston.
It's the final week of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet on MyTV Charleston. A perfect night in late October for high school football. We are northeast of Charleston in St. Stephen, South Carolina. The Region 7 2A title is on the line as the Timberland Wolves play host South Carolina's #1 team in 2A, the Oceanside Land Sharks. Hello, everybody. Alongside Jack DeLong, Champs, and Trooper Bob down on the field, I'm Zeke Beam. Welcome in to our season finale of Friday Night Rivals, week number 10. Jack, what more could we ask? Now, country, you have 3 region title games. We get one of them here tonight. Fort Dorchester, Somerville in 5A, Lucy Beck and James Island in 4A, and Oceanside and Timberland both perfect in the region.
It's a crisp fall Friday night. About as good as he gets, man. 2 tails of the program when it comes to Timberland and Oceanside. Timberland scuffling in. Oceanside, obviously the powerhouse in the state of South Carolina. But at the end of the day, 3-0 in region with a chance to win a region championship. Couldn't ask for anything better. On
their home field. Big reason Oceanside is the powerhouse in 2A. Their left tackle, Monroe Freeling, he's top 100 player in America. He's committed to Georgia. When you look at the field in the pregame, there's a guy that looks different than the rest of everybody down there. He's a big dude.
He's the #1 player in the state of South Carolina, and the athleticism jumps off the chart with the big fella. This is an Oceanside offense that prides itself with balance, and it really does start all up front with the big fella.
On the other side, Amari Jenkins is back in the lineup. The Timberland linebacker starting to get a lot of Sun Belt action, really getting some college attention, but he's healthy, and he's changed this Timberland football team, especially in the middle of that defense.
Absolutely. And if Timberland pull off a miracle tonight, the big upset, it's going to start with Amari Jenkins. This is a linebacker that swarms the football. There's a reason that he's going to play in the Shrine Bowl this offseason, and this guy is going to have to make a big difference in the ballgame tonight.
It is Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Why not a region title game? Beautiful night here at Timberland High School. It fits its namesake perfectly, surrounded by timber. Beautiful setting for a high school football game. Excited about this here tonight. Region title on the line. The kickoff of Oceanside and Timberland next. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz.
You got it?
Yep, I hear it through my earpiece. Yep.
The season finale of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, set for the kickoff here in Timberland. 61 degrees at the kick. 7:35 is our kickoff time. Holy City Heating and Air time and temperature. Holy City Heating and Air, we provide solutions for every season. Nice setting for high school football. Really pretty all the way around. Region title on the line. Region 7-2A. Oceanside, the #1 team in the state. Loaded with talent. Number of college players on the field for Oceanside. Timberland 3-0 in their last three. They've run the table in the region, trying to pull off the huge upset here tonight. Short kick ends up on the ground, and running room right out of the gate for Timberland. Might be a touchdown for the Wolves. This is Gaskins, and he'll take it to the house.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
How about that? Oceanside fell asleep a little bit.
By number 13, Javier's Sumter. But there's a flag.
And there's a flag down on the field. Was somebody on offsides potentially for Oceanside? I said that was Gaskins.
How about setting the tone early? We've talked about all evening the fact that this would have to be a huge upset for Timberland to pull something off. Well, Timberland looks... Well, as we were saying, that Timberland looks unfazed as they take the opening kick to the crib. Unfortunately, this one coming back, it's going to be holding on the Wolves. I mean, an electric start, though. You even had the whole tried and technical college touchdown graphic scoreboard. Shout out to the sponsors, but early and often here at Timberland High tonight.
Starting lineups for tonight's game. Gavin Gaskins is going to have his hand full with that real active defensive line. Rashad White, the wide receiver, he's a Dartmouth guy, starting to get Ivy League offers. He's a difference maker.
Absolutely, and for Timberland, it's going to be about controlling the line of scrimmage. Can they establish any kind of offense against an Oceanside defense that's pitched 4 shutouts already this season?
That was Javier's Sumter on the kickoff return. We didn't have him on our roster. He didn't play in the first game that we had for Timberland. So trying to figure some of those things out here on the fly. Oceanside defense, there's a good look. Ben Britton has some Sunbelt offers, Citadel offer. He's getting a lot of FBS, FCS attention. And in the middle, or on the back end, I should say, Zach Heggett on the quarterback. He's a sweet.
Absolutely. A lot of speed in that Oceanside secondary. Keep an eye on number 50, the big fella, nose guard, Timmy Castaigne, lead the team with 3.5 sacks already this year as well.
TEC Equipment Rental starting lineups. We rent the good stuff. TEC Equipment Rental. Underway here at Timberland, little toss sweep and running room for first down yardage. A Mr. Sparky first down out across the 40-yard line. That's number 24, Demarion Hampton on the carry. He picks up right at 20 yards, and Timberland has the initial first down of the football game. Boy, we've had everything in the first 2 minutes.
First down for the Wolves.
Keeper by Gaskins, the 6'2 sophomore quarterback.
On the carry, quarterback keeper, number 15, Gavin Gaskins.
And a minute in, both teams trying to settle in, as is your broadcasting crew.
How about that?
Yeah.
Ben Britton waking up Gaskins on that big-time hit. Looks like we need to wake up a little bit up here, but yeah, we got to show the love. A little number 13 actually takes the kick to the crib. Just trying to catch our breath up here.
Second and 10.
It was interesting because we didn't see Timberland right until kickoff. They warmed up on another field because of senior night. They did senior night on one half of the field. Then they came over late, and then we had a little delay waiting for TV because they wanted to start at about 7:28 before we were on air as the pass ball's incomplete.
Brings
so the
up
two teams had to wait
down.
5 or 6 minutes to get started. But they were both ready.
Now we know why. Take up first one of the crib. They were juiced. They knew something we didn't. That is for sure.
Third
and about 10. For Timberland, the Wolves. That offensive line, Keon Wright, Ethan Milligan, Desmond Green, Josh Ham, Kasim Liferidge. Desmond Green, the freshman in the center, is going to be big time. Just a freshman. He's massive, 6'4", 270, going to get bigger and bigger. Little tunnel screen, complete right at the line of scrimmage. This is Sumter. He's touched it a lot early. He has first down yardage and is in Oceanside territory.
How about the play call here? It looks like they're going to fake the halfback string punt of the backfield. A lot of speed so far out of this Timberland team. We talked about how physically, just really aggressive this Oceanside team plays. The speed of Timberland so far early in this ballgame has been the difference.
So Timberland on their initial drive across midfield and under Mr. Sparky first down. Mr. Sparky, America's on-time electrician. And they have something working. They picked up 30 yards on about 5 plays on this drive. Hampton takes it on the keeper. He'll pick up a couple, and he's stacked up on the middle of that front line. Ben Britton, Mike Jones, Timmy Castine, and A.J. Johnson. The really active defensive front for Timberland are keys to the game tonight.
Absolutely, and for Oceanside, we talked about it a little bit in the open. It's going to be all about Monroe Freeling. For Timberland, though, those keys to the game as we talk about that offense. Coach Wright had talked about this team is relentless. They pride themselves on fight and physicality. They'll take all they have tonight. But with that being said, 3-0 in region, they're starting to get healthy, right? Health is really the main key of the game. You're going to see some studs for this Timberland team that you haven't really seen yet this season.
Flag down.
Was going dead.
Looked like some movement up front by Timberland. We're about an hour, would you say, northeast of downtown Charleston, up next to Lake Moultrie.
There was a flag.
Yeah, absolutely, on a Friday afternoon.
Right on the edge of Berkeley County. I drove through the Francis Marion Forest. This is the furthest out we've gone for a football game this year.
On the defense.
Looks like it's offside against the Sharks.
Something kind of romantic, though, about being out here at Timberland. It's a lot darker, almost a little Bedlam-esque. Night sky's a little bit darker here this fall afternoon. Timberland looking to do something weird. 3-6 for 7-1, 3-0 in conference. It's the only record that matters tonight. When it comes to winning a conference championship, throw the numbers out the window. Let's just go play.
Timberland with it. Second down and short after the 5-yard encroachment penalty, as it's called in high school. And it'll bring up third down.
On the carry, number 25.
So Oceanside gave up the big run, and then they gave up the screen, but they've been but not broken so far. Timberland. A little power action coming this way at a 4 or 5 yard gain down near the 30-yard line. They pick up the first down.
And there's the big fella for you.
As Omari Jenkins, the linebacker and a running back who occasionally gets carries, he gets that power package.
And as we were mentioning the keys for the game for Timberland, it's all about getting healthy at the right time. Relentless, physical. There's nobody maybe more physical on the ball field than Omari Jenkins.
Jenkins gets it again. This time Oceanside sniffs it out. Upfield to make the stop, Timmy Castine. That's the old wishbone formation. You know, you don't see it all that often. We don't get to see tape. It's a high school game, so you don't get to see tape. You look up and you're like, oh, the wishbone formation.
Come on. Got to reach deep into the playbook to find a conference championship this late in the year.
You know, you get on Max Preps, you occasionally get a highlight or two. You get to see a little bit. But you can almost go in and call a game blind. It's kind of fun.
It is kind of. Well, you never know what you're going to get.
Gaskin's going to take a shot up top. Nobody home. That went into the end zone and incomplete. And a flag down behind the play. Was he hit late?
It's going to be late.
I got holding on 7-0 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Holding call on Kasim Liefridge. Looked like he had a hold of. Is it Gavin Gaspar or Tucker Swisher? That's Tucker Swisher. 22, not 82.
10-yard penalty. That penalty is declined. Third down.
And, you know, Tucker Swisher's a name that we're going to say a lot of tonight. On the offensive side of the ball, we'll refer to maybe a guy that's a staple in that Oceanside backfield. Not going to see him tonight. Tucker Swisher going to get the ball on the offensive side. He got there a little bit late. Obviously, the throw airmailed just a bit, but Swisher, I thought, got there a little late.
Our first quarter scorebook brought to you by David Ayler Law Offices, your client-focused, community-driven injury firm. Third down 11 for Timberland on their opening drive. Bouncing it right. And just out of bounds short of the first down, picking up 6 or 7. Is Javaris Sumter. Again, didn't have him on the roster from the first game, and Greg Wright didn't mention him. Well, so he's kind of snuck out there, and he's got some really important early touches.
I don't know if Coach Wright thought we were going to let Oceanside know, maybe expose the playbook today, but this young man is electric with the football in his hands so far this evening.
Coach, I worked today. I was trying to get here on time. Fourth down, and Timberland quickly into that wishbone. They go with the power package.
Jenkins on the carry.
And Oceanside stacks it up, forces it outside, and Jenkins can't get there. Nice job getting upfield by Timmy Castine. And Timberland, an impressive opening drive, but turned back by that bend but don't break.
Absolutely. They're able to, flip the field, though. As you mentioned it, we don't have a lot to work on. So when you go and look at the schedules of these two teams, right, Oceanside has been the absolute powerhouse in the state of South Carolina this year. You cannot deny it.
Let's get a look at the Oceanside offense. They are coming together at the right time. There's talent everywhere, especially on that offensive line. Again, Monroe Freeling is the left tackle. He's a top 100 player in America, Georgia commit. Ben Britton, another really good offensive lineman. Vaughn Blue, their leading rusher at running back, is out tonight. He's a UNC Charlotte commit, has a from missing this game, so filling in for him is Tucker Swisher at running back.
Absolutely, and look to see a lot of Jace Kraftchick, the receiver. You saw him on the other side of the field, plays that free safety spot. He's going to be all around the football all tonight. He's really electric with the football in his hands. They try to get the ball to number 12 in open space. That's when this offense is really good.
Edward Reidenbach is the quarterback, great leader. Smart player, says his head coach, Chad Wilkes. More on the coaches here in a moment. And Reidenbach to give inside, a little running room for Swisher.
Number 20 on the carry.
Take a look at the Timberland defense. Cameron Adkins, Reuben Lawrence, they're real active up front on that defensive line. Josh Ham is the one that Greg Wright is in love with on that defensive line. He's got a lot of potential to play at the next level.
Second down.
And in the secondary, Keyshawn Brown, Gavin Edwards, Xavier Hampton, Kylan Brown, playing some new faces back there, but they've started to come together. A good defensive football team. Out in the flat, complete. Reidenbach has it to Cole Strickler. Big, athletic, physical receiver. Not the fleetest of foot, but he makes a lot of tough catches in traffic, and he just pops off that tight end spot and picks up 10.
Absolutely. Really nice touch on the outside there into the flats. We talked about Edward Reidenbach, the young guy. His team really takes the identity of their quarterback. Really physical runner. So you're going to see him get outside the pocket, but the maturation with this quarterback is going to be to go through the progressions, find guys downfield, then get outside the pocket, and extend the play with your feet.
A Mr. Sparky first down for Oceanside. Their first of the night as Swisher picks his way for a couple. Hanging around his waist, Logan Gaskins. He's going to look at Gavin Edwards, kind of to the right of your camera. He's a senior. He's headed to North Greenville to play his college football, defensive back and wide receiver. This is the second time we've seen Timberland on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet this season. More on that in a minute. There's a good look at Greg Wright, head football coach at Timberland. He's the defensive coordinator, played at South Carolina, third season. They were 9-2 last year and had a great year. This season's kind of flipped on its head, but they're unbeaten in region play. And obviously had this big game here tonight. Passes complete out into the flat. There's Kraftchick for 15 yards, and Oceanside's to midfield.
Well, again, you can see the time in the pocket for Edward Reidenbach back there. This offensive line is big and physical, and at the 2A level, a lot of times there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to struggle to get in that Oceanside backfield.
Swisher bites off a tackle, has near another first down, picks up 9. Chased down by Ethan Milligan.
By number 11, Gavin Edwards.
And we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
And you are. But you get into this Timberland roster on defense, and you're like sophomore, junior, sophomore. There's a bright future for this Timberland program.
Absolutely. And we were kind of talking about before we jumped into those starting lineups. The team, when you look at the schedule, strength of schedule, they struggled with a lot of teams out of the conference, but they're taking care of business. Really impressed by the speed tonight. This speed's going to give Oceanside maybe a little bit of trouble at first opening drive. No matter how good that Oceanside defense is, Timberland speed on the outside could be a problem.
Zach Hegedon gets the carry. Hegedon pops it free. Hegedon will score. Touchdown Oceanside, but a flag down behind the play.
I think we're going to get a hold on the outside here. That penalty flag came in over the top from the overhead judge.
Might have been Trey Brown, the tight end. He may have held his block a little too long, but Hegedon was already gone, and he didn't need to keep holding it. But Timberland gets one to go their way, and they'll be backed up second and about 12 or so.
I've got holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Cracking himself up there a little bit.
Yeah, there's Greg Wright.
Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with
his first year was the COVID year. Every coach had an impossible year. They went 3-3, and then 9-2 last year.
Exit closest to you. In the event of emergency,
And the keys tonight to the game for Oceanside, Jack.
And pay close attention.
Absolutely, for Oceanside. It's about playing a complete game. Coach Wilkes referred to that maybe their best fourth quarter might be the 2A has to offer. Keep working towards that, building momentum towards the postseason. You know, we talked about Monroe Freeling, one of the best players in the state. It's about winning a state championship. This is that time of the year you see those kind of premier top-end players step up and show you their best.
It was a first down on the penalty, so the penalty was downfield, came back 10 yards, and Oceanside got a fresh set of downs. And Swisher gets the carry on first down and picks up 6 or 7. And when you look at this Oceanside roster, you see all you see the top 100 players, you see the top player in the state, and then you look, you know, there's 8 or 9 other guys that are going to fill maybe 10 or 12. When they put it all together, they're really good.
Absolutely.
They're not as deep as some of the 5A teams. When they put it all together, they're really good. And if they play their game and take care of business, they're going to be tough to beat all the way until that first weekend of December. Swisher picks his way near first down yardage. Mr. Sparky is anxiously awaiting to see whether or not they're going to say third down and about 2. Martin get a great spot there. It looked like he got down near the 25, but just gets the 27 on fourth progress.
Mr. Sparky's anxious, but how about Trident Technical College? That's 2 touchdowns pulled off the board. I feel like we're teasing him a little bit.
2:50 to play first quarter. Quickly moving here in Timberland. We're in St. Stephen, South Carolina. Reidenbach, Swisher, first down yardage. Swisher outside, chase down, but a flag comes in. And why wouldn't it?
I know we've seen a lot of those yellow hankies already today, but we talked about earlier. You see the misdirection on that left side. They're going to run behind their big fellas. Monroe Freeling, but also Britton at left guard. These are 2 big physical guys up front.
Oceanside Collegiate is 7-1 on the season. Their only loss at South Florence, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a 3A school. 29-28, the second game of the season. Oceanside has not allowed more than 8 points to anyone since the NFL season started.
Is that pretty good?
That's pretty good. 0-0-8-0-0 allowed in their last 5 games. That's why they're the number 1 team in 2A. Barnwell, I believe, is the number 2 team. Looking at this week's poll. They've outscored opponents by 204 points in 8 games. Reidenbach pressure, keeps it, kind of picks his way, and he's near first down yardage.
Tackled by number 12.
I think he's going to go up just short. Might be 4th and 1.
And you're going to see what the maturation process for the young guy, man. Like, he's going to feel it's a bad snap, but when he doesn't have it, he does have the ability to get out of the pocket and beat you with the feet. Always having the ability to fall forward. It's a big-time quarterback.
Looks as though Oceanside's going to get an extra offensive line there.
The kicking game at the high school level is always up in the air.
4th and 1, you're not kicking it from
4th and 1 with maybe the biggest offensive line in the state. You're not kicking it
at any level. Reidenbach straight ahead, first down. And Mr. Sparky first down for Oceanside. Quickly played first quarter here, though. Timberland, that's something you want. If the game takes an hour and 15 minutes, so be it. The shorter it is, fewer possessions, your advantage.
Absolutely. And as again, you mentioned the youth on that Timberland sideline. No such thing as a moral loss. There's no moral victories, right? A team that can hang with the physicality, right? You prove a concept. Moving forward, this is one of those games that you kind of put a chip on your shoulder and belly up next year as well.
Yeah, Oceanside has a win over Carolina Forest. I think Carolina Forest is 5A, if I'm not mistaken. But they have throttled their last 5 opponents. And they're on the move here late first quarter at Timberland. Hagedon splits out. He's in the slot. He's open up top. Reidenbach floats it out there a step too far. You could see where that was going as soon as they put him in the slot. They got him on the safety and said, go.
Yeah. And there's not going to be, right, especially with the safety over the top, he's going to run by any linebacker at the line of scrimmage, but he can absolutely fly. This is going to be a throw that Reidenbach wishes that he had back just a step past that free safety. But you love to see guys right up the middle of the seam. we're going to see Oceanside expose a lot of people on the outside because how big their tackles are. But if they can continually expose people up the middle of the field, they're going to make a nice deep run into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, Kylan Brown's ability just to get there and create a little pressure on Hegedon may have saved the touchdown there. And here's an interception. It did save a touchdown. Picked off by Keyshawn Brown, and Brown into the Timberland sideline on a nice return. And Timberland turned Sharks.
How about this? He just steps right in front of it, kind of a throw behind him, but Timberland unfaithful in this situation. They are ready to roll, and that's a big-time pick. Talked about on the under, and bend, don't break. It's a huge play to turn the ball over.
Keyshawn Brown, I might mention his name at halftime during some other awards. There's a good look at Keyshawn Brown, and again, got offers most recently from Dartmouth, so he's looked at by Ivy League schools. Good football player, and obviously a brilliant young man. Gaskins inside. Hampton bounces around the left side, and he's near first down yardage. Picks up about 7. Going to be a couple yards short, but a nice run on first down. Timberland doing what they have to do right now, hanging around. They've created a turnover. And we're going to take a break on the field. Scoreless here through 11 and a half minutes, Timberland and Oceanside Collegiate. He was supposed to go stop him between possessions and didn't. The Fan Cam sponsored by the Fan Zone. All your sports teams' gear under one roof. Final Friday night of the regular season. Final Friday night of Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Late minutes first quarter or final first quarter. These two teams just kind of blew right through these first 12 minutes. It's a lot of 5- and 6-yard runs and no scoring. Doesn't slow the game down.
Time of possession, control the rock, right?
Gaskins, pressure from behind, hit and sacked. A free run at him for, I thought it was Swisher, but actually
Edwards.
It's 33, A.J. Zarzaka.
Brings up.
And A.J. sacked to end the first quarter.
Yeah. Sophomore linebacker shot out of a cannon there. It's a big-time sack to head to the second quarter.
Week number 10 of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, scoreless at Timberland. Quarter number 2 of Timberland and Oceanside Collegiate. Oceanside Collegiate, number 1 team in 2A. Timberland 3-6 on the year, but 3-0 in the region. They played a very tough schedule, a number of 5A teams. And tonight they're playing Oceanside for a region title. 3rd down, 14 to start the second quarter for Timberland.
There's a flag before the snap.
And I think this is more of an administrative issue, an actual penalty, or is there?
I got a dead ball, snap infraction on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. We still 3rd down.
The center must have done something because they really weren't even set for play, but that flag came in pretty quickly. So 3rd and 20 for Timberland. Biggest thing here, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot.
That's new to me, right? They were able to do it on the first possession, flipping the field. Even though the score might be still 0-0, got to be able to flip the field.
Direct snap.
Sumter on the carry.
Sumter on the carry, picks up a couple of yards, but that's about it. And Timberland will have to punt. Let's go down to Trooper Bob on the sidelines.
Hey, guys, I'm down here on the sidelines with Mr. Evans, the principal for Timberland. What are some of the great things you're doing here this year?
I can't hear you say anything.
Early college program that's been going on for years is still kicking strong, that students can earn college credits while they're in high school. We also have our mentoring program that's coming back. Our FFA program has been doing great things at different competitions, as well as our JROTC program. We have our day and our evening welding classes that students can actually be a completer, and through our partnership with W International, they're able to gain employment after high school.
A couple more weeks before Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my family. I look forward to spending time with family.
Thank you for coming out here. Now we got a check for you.
Out of bounds.
Let's get a look at a $500 check to Timberland High School. My TV Charleston and ABC News 4 are proud to present each participating home school a check for $500. This grant helps provide each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 12 seasons, Friday Night Rivals and our sponsors have donated over $130,000 to Low-Country students and schools. Congratulations, Timberland High School, from My TV Charleston and ABC News 4. Short punt for Timberland while we were in our interview, and great starting field position for Oceanside Collegiate on their 3rd drive of the night. Swisher takes the handoff from Reidenbach, and he'll plow behind Freeling and Cashton for about 3 or 4 yards.
You know, there in that first quarter, penalties really shot both teams in the foot. But Zeke, I'm telling you, that's one of the quickest first quarters we've seen yet this season. Even with the penalties limiting teams on that Oceanside sideline, they look to take advantage of the miscue on the punt. Finally, try to get into that.
We had your alma mater, Wando. Did you go to Wando?
I did go to Wando.
Yeah, we had your alma mater, Wando, and
3 on the carry.
Berkeley, and they played in about 20 minutes. It was unbelievable. It was the quickest football game I've ever seen in my life.
That region's showcasing some of the best defenses really in the state, but offensively they struggle to score some points, especially baseball.
It was the running is what it did. It's just run after run. Berkeley's an option team, and Wando ran it a lot, and their defense dominated. So it was one of the quicker games I've ever seen in any sport. There was a Charleston Southern Toledo baseball game one time that was 9 innings and about an hour and 27 minutes. It was unbelievable.
I remember that.
3rd down and 8 for Oceanside Collegiate. A couple of runs didn't turn up anything. Now here's a shot up top. Reidenbach had him and overshot. A wide open, I believe that was the backup quarterback, Jake Rook. Backup wide receiver. Rook had a couple of steps and had a touchdown. What was that, Kravchik?
I think it was Kravchik.
It was 12, not 10.
I'm telling you, Kravchik's all over the field, and they can find a way to get him to open space. This is a Timberland secondary we mentioned. It's a lot of youth. We're going to see a lot of Gavin Edwards, number 11, and Keyshawn Brown, who we've already seen with the pick already in this ball game. But it's 2 throws already today of Reidenbach right up the middle of that seam. They can take advantage of a youthful, very experienced secondary. Oceanside, a couple miscues early to really extend the lead. Timberland hanging around.
Timeout. Defense. First 1.5.
14 minutes in, we're scoreless. Friday Night Rivals. Fourth down and call it 9 for Oceanside Collegiate. First couple of minutes of the second quarter, scoreless. Region 7 2A title game. Reidenbach throws the interception across the middle to Jenkins, and he has the pick, and he's inside the red zone, chased down by Reidenbach. A key, actually Kravchuk's touchdown, but a key pick there. And Oceanside had an opportunity to score, didn't hit the pass, and then they come up with the costly turnover on fourth down.
Our Palmetto Pride instant replay is going to show you. Look at the big fella, Omari Jenkins, getting downfield. There's a reason that this young man's stock is rising in the recruiting ranks, but let us not forget Jace Kravchuk with the chase down tackle. This is a really good Oceanside defense that may have just saved 6 points on the board. Could be something to think about as this game proceeds.
Hampton trying to power his way over the left side, picks up a couple. Down to about the 12 or 13-yard line. That's 2 interceptions here in the first 15 minutes. For Timberland, and it's making all the difference in the world right now in this football game.
And it almost looks like the timing right now with Reidenbach, everything is almost behind his receivers. It just looks like there's maybe a little bit of communication between him and his outside receivers.
Tough right now, though, for Timberland. Pick up maybe 1 or 2 as Hampton again, but just nowhere to go against that defensive front.
And after the big turnover, you'd love to see Gavin Gaskins maybe take a shot at the end zone. Obviously, this quarterback is a guy that they trust. Oceanside defense really big up front. Look for them maybe to go to the end zone. Keyshawn Brown, you've heard the name already today. Rashad White, a guy that maybe can go snag something.
3rd and 7. Gaskins looking right, throws into traffic, and I think that's intercepted. Zach Hagedon beat him to the spot and picked it off inside the 5, and Oceanside Collegiate gets the turnover. 3 interceptions in only about 3 or 4 minutes of game time. Clock's still running. Somebody caught that, but a big turnover and a big stop for Oceanside Collegiate.
Well, again, I don't want to sound like a threat, but bend don't break. It's a really nice play by Hagedon on the outside, but these are quarterbacks that maybe in this moment the game is a little bit too quick for them. Slow it down. Right, go through the reads. He had Rashad White on the bottom of the screen, wide open, one-on-one coverage. Obviously, the top of the screen. It just looks like the timing between quarterback and receivers right now a little out of sync.
And credit the defensive line a little bit. There's a lot of pressure up the field coming from both sides. Palmetto Pride replay here in the second quarter, sponsored by Palmetto Pride. Pickup is important, but prevention is better. Litter trashes everyone. Don't do it. 1st and 10 for Oceanside. Running room straight ahead. And picking up about 5 on first down to Swisher.
You know, Zeke, we actually were talking about it in the commercial break, too. We'd be remiss to remind everybody, that was actually our first Boone Hall Fright Night red zone trip. Both offenses screaming in the red zone right now. Make sure to go check out Boone Hall Fright Night Halloween right tournament. Both offenses giving their offensive coordinators quite the scare this evening.
Scoreless. As we wind toward the midway point of this quarter, Oceanside keeps trying to pop to that second level with the running game and Swisher, but that Timberland defense is up to the task. Credit them up front. They were feisty last time we saw them. Cameron Adkins, Josh Ham. It was fun to listen.
That's a 10-yard penalty or half the distance.
Officials might cut out their holding call on Oceanside. Not sure how many holding penalties we'll have tonight, but you have to think somewhere in the 20-30 range.
And the pace of the game, too, pretty incredible.
Yeah, you talking with Greg Wright, he glowed when he talked about Josh Ham on that defensive front. Said he's only 5'11", but he's 230, 240. He's getting faster, just really active, and he's got a young man that's bright, gifted, and has a bright future in college football. Oceanside just struggling to get it going up front. Again, there's Ham in there. Just as we mentioned him, he get on the pile. Omari Jenkins and Ethan Milligan.
And they do some really, defensively, they do a lot of really, stunt a lot of blitzes, right? So if they're a huge fan of Josh Ham, why not blitz him on the same side of the line of scrimmage? Omari Jenkins, but we'd be remiss to say, too, we got a new quarterback in the building for Oceanside. Number 7, Devin Yard, has checked in for an early Edward Reidenbach, maybe trying to flip the switch.
Yard throwing this way. It has it tipped away at the last moment. Kylan Brown, another nice break on the football after that safety spot. And Oceanside will have to punt. So right now the Land Sharks find themselves in some really unfamiliar. See how they respond to the test. They're backed up in their own end zone and have to punt it out of there. Kylan Brown.
You know, we mentioned in the open about how this would be a huge test for Timberland. How Oceanside was by far the gone favorite to go win this ball game, 7-1 of the season, a powerhouse. I think someone forgot to tell Timberland as they keep hanging around.
Yeah, nice job by the punter to pick it up, take it off the turf, and get it out of the end zone and not have it blocked. And Oceanside dodges a bullet there. Catastrophe averted. I think that's Quinn Mahoney that scooped it up and thumped it out of there.
Play by Reidenbach, your punter.
It is Reidenbach.
Punt down around the 35-yard line.
Ball hit the ground. He's had a tough first half, but nice job saving his team right there. And Timberland, unbelievable field position at the Oceanside 35-yard line, but they have to capitalize. Gaskins in the gun. Runs a little option with Hampton. Gets it to Hampton, and he's just forced to the boundary and out of bounds after gain of 2.
It's a really nice play. You see the strong safety, Jake Rook, fly out from that strong safety position, make a nice play on the outside for just the gain of 2. But to your point, which offense first is going to stop? They really punch the ball. And,
see if we get down to Bob here after this play, see what's going down on that side, going down on the Timberland sideline as they're trying to score here midway point of the second quarter. Gaskins in the pocket over the middle, has to get behind his receiver, but didn't get any help from Keyshawn Brown, who needed to come up with that one. Would have been a first down.
Incomplete. Brings up third down.
Again, we've seen it all night tonight. Every throw just looks like it's a hair behind the receivers. The timing between quarterback and receiver, that's one that the sure-handed Keyshawn Brown we want to hold on to. You saw him defensively with the pick earlier on in the ballgame, but right now a lot of sloppiness on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe the opportunity to go win a region championship for both teams a little bit too much as they head this thing into halftime. Both coaches, with the inefficiencies on offense, got to be pretty pleased with the fact that they're not losing the ball game in a pretty sloppy fest so far here on Friday evening.
Moore in motion, the tight end. Gaskins looking this way, wants that tunnel screen. It's tipped up, finally caught, but won't give Gavin Edwards and the Wolf offense much to work with on third down, and it'll be 4th and 12. Bob, what's going on the sidelines?
Brings up 4.
What's he saying?
13 for the
Catching the balls, and especially their sidelines when I'm walking by, every member of their team is in this game.
Timberland decides to punt. Greg Wright's going to put his defense back out there, and after forcing a couple of turnovers and nearly blocking a punt, why wouldn't you? Good kick here by Edwards, but his coverage team can't keep it out of the end zone. The ball will come out to the 20-yard line for the Land Sharks. A little surprised the first quarter and a half of this one. Have to be.
I know it. We did. We came in with these lofty expectations for a really potent Oceanside team. A lot of physicality, a lot of speed. It's like someone forgot to tell Timberland that they weren't supposed to be in the game. Talk about the youth and inexperience. This team looks like they are right and ready to go make a run at the postseason, unscared of the big strength of Oceanside. The speed of this Timberland team on both sides of the football has got them right in this ballgame, just in the middle of the second quarter.
Do we have another break in this quarter? So Oceanside brings it out to the 20, the 4th possession. For the Land Sharks, and a new QB back into the game as Yard comes back in. Swisher on the carry. Is that Yard or is that Hegedon?
That quarterback, I believe it's number 7, Devin Yard. You know, on our rosters upstairs, we've got him down as number 14, but You know, I'm curious, right? This is the #1 team in the state of South Carolina. They're on one heck of a run right now. Oceanside obviously came out with this ball game quite flat. You go to the senior quarterback, Devin Yard, with a struggling ride. Is Devin Yard the answer moving forward, or is this just an opportunity to really wake up this Oceanside team?
Pass in the flat, complete, and caught for first down yardage to the tight end, Trey Brown at Oceanside. The first time he gets a little bit of momentum and starts moving the football.
I think the key for the Land Sharks is to get this talent out into space, allow them to try to get creative with the ball, find these guys out of the open space. You saw Tucker Swisher gash this Timberland defense for a couple big 8-9 yard gains. Try to pop it to the outside, lean on the big offensive line and go that way.
It's a West Shore home first down. First one I think we've had maybe here in the second quarter. Haven't been many of them. West Shore Home, America's most admired home remodeling brand. First half flying by here at Timberland High School. Two unbeaten teams in the region on the final night of the regular season. A yard or two for Swisher, but not much. And that Timberland defense, that defensive front continues to be up to the task. Adkins, Ham, Tyler Cameron. Haven't said his name tonight, but he's in that mix up front, very active.
And he wasn't in on the tackle there, but how about tackle Ruben Lawrence, number 44? He's got that initial surge right over the snap. You're going to see number 56, Eddie Porteas, playing center for the Land Sharks. But so far in this ballgame, Ruben Lawrence has been really impressive.
Hagedon takes the handoff and pops it big over the left side. He's into Timberland territory and down near the 30-yard line. Biggest play of the night for Oceanside Collegiate, and that might be the jolt they needed.
Absolutely. Again, Hagedon all around the football tonight. Explosive with the rock. You saw the pick on the defensive side of the ball. He bounces it to the outside, hopefully to wake up an Oceanside team. But you're going to see, why wouldn't you run on that left tackle? And that's a big left side of your offensive line. May expose Timberland there for a big one.
Swisher on the give. They keep working that left side, as you would expect, right behind Monroe Freeling. And a couple of yards stacked up by that Timberland front. First body you see come out of there, Ruben Lawrence.
See Omari Jenkins checking off the sideline. Looks like he's maybe just ducking off a headband, but God, he's an impressive young man. We talked about Monroe Freeling. We were walking down on the sidelines before the game. Stands out. I mean, he's a big dude. He can play legitimate, big-time football at the reigning national champions next year, but Omari Jenkins similar. I mean, this is a guy that can really run for his.
Number 3
a little running room to the line of scrimmage, but not much doing this time for Oceanside. It might be Will Virgilio at quarterback. There's a 13 and a 14. One's a sophomore, one's a senior. We don't have a 7 on what we were given. And a lot of times in high school, road numbers and home numbers are different. And so we run into this sometimes week to week. And we're here in just a moment. Nevertheless, third down Oceanside. Pressure coming and sacked. Back near the 35-yard line.
It was our guy again.
Yeah, just a jailbreak. That time Omari Jenkins came through, came free. And Oceanside, what was a promising drive, backed up. It's fourth down and about 14.
And you're going to see here in this replay, watch, brought to you by Palmetto Pride, they really creatively on the defensive side of the ball. There's a bunch of guys in that backfield really just only blitzing for Timberland. Serious problems for Oceanside as they're looking to keep their offense still on the field.
Fourth down, why not take a shot? One receiver left, 3 to the right. Might go after man coverage on that left side, and I believe Greg Wright wants a timeout.
Timeout. Defense. Second one.
Social media pays off, Jack. Thank you for that.
Come on.
We have confirmed it as Devin Yard, the senior quarterback. Nice find there, sir.
Absolutely. Got to give props to the senior, right? Have the younger guy, the underclassman, come in and take your job. He never wavers. Now this is his opportunity. And what has been so far to this point their biggest game of the year. But let's show some love to the fans at Timberland tonight. Coming and showing some love. Fan Cam sponsored by the Fan Zone. Timberland showing out on senior night for the guys. Boys are showing love back to their fans.
As a reminder, in accordance with fire
fourth down
regulation,
and 14 for Oceanside Collegiate. 7-1 on the season, 3-0 in Region 7 2A. Oceanside is the #1 team in 2A. Third-year head coach Chad Wilkes, his third stop as a head coach. He was a player at Cherall, won 2 state titles there.
Thank you.
And this is a program, right, that's been building towards this moment. If you asked Monroe Freely, right, last year they had 3 offensive linemen go and play at the Division I college level. This is almost like baby brother getting his turn, except he's not so baby. Yes, man. This is the big fella. He's going to win a ring for everyone that came first at this school.
Snap gets away from Yard. Now he has to make something out of nothing. Just heaves it, and it's nearly intercepted at the 23-yard line, and it's better for Timberland that it wasn't because of field position. But this defensive front right now is giving Oceanside fits.
Absolutely. You see there, they're going to drop Omari Jenkins back into coverage. And right now, obviously, a really bad snap. A miscommunication between the new quarterback. But Timberland only blitzing 4. This is a defensive coordinator's dream and an offensive coordinator's nightmare so far in this ballgame. Devin Yard looking to take advantage of the opportunity with the center there, not giving him a whole lot to work with.
Less than 2 minutes to play until halftime. Right now, a battle of defensive wills between Oceanside and Timberland. Gaskin gives it Hampton, running room near first down yardage. He'll pick up chunk yardage to the tune of about 8 out near the 45-yard line.
How about the hole over here on the left side? You're going to see that pulling guard coming around, the big right guard for Timberland. And there he is. It's your guy again, number 55, Josh Ham, creating a huge hole on the outside. Number 24, Marion Hampton's been really good at that backfield today. Not so good there.
Also, the instantaneous jinx. Couldn't get it out of your mouth before he dropped the football.
That's on me, young fella. That's on me upstairs. That drop, credit to my stat line. Marion Hampton, he's been explosive in the backfield. You saw it on the run there. Watch him putting the foot in the ground, really step back, cut it up upfield. Timberland's speed, again, has been wildly impressive so far.
Cale Gilchrist, a backup linebacker on the field right now for Oceanside. Tez Spann, Zach Hegedon are the corners. Jake Rook, Grayson Freeling, the defensive backs, and timeout asked for.
Timeout. Defense. First 1.5.
I have to think Chad Wilkes just wants to make sure his defense is set. They kind of know what they're doing here on 3rd down and 3. More importantly, don't give up a big play or get caught in a trick play situation with 74 seconds to play until halftime.
I was going to say, with the way these defenses have played, you got to imagine maybe 4-down territory, right? Big-time punter here, but interesting to see what happens when we come to the break.
Busy night in high school football all around the Low Country. Join ABC News 4's Scotty Eisberg and Natalie Spalla on Friday Night Rivals tonight at 11:05. Scores and highlights from throughout the Low Country, and run through it again with me. Fort Dorchester Somerville Region Championship game in 5A. Lucy Beckham James Island 4A. James Island's ranked 7th or 8th in the state in 4A. They've been a surprise football team this year.
How about the rushing attack from James Island so far this year? Lucy Beckham in his first year of varsity football, the chance to go win the region. Big-time stuff from Mount Pleasant Low Country.
4th down, bouncing it outside, bouncing through tackles and picking up the first down is Omari Jenkins, and he really can't decide whether or not he wants to be a running back or a linebacker, so he's just doing both right now for Timberland.
Flex on him, young man. He wants to play running back at the next level. We talked about maybe going to a trick play coming out. You're going to see here at the end of play maybe a little late hit.
I have a dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. That will be a 15-yard penalty resulting in first down.
You explain to me how you can commit unnecessary roughness on a dude as tough as Omari Jenkins.
I don't know, man. I guess that's the only way to take him down, I guess. I mean, how silly are we up here, though? See the wishbone, 3rd and short, got to do the same thing on 4th down. Why mess around and get tricky? Let's just go to the big fella and let him run over somebody.
Right back in it, a little offset this time, almost to give Hampton a different angle. And Hampton will pick up a couple of yards on 1st down. I didn't get to my cough button in time.
Hey, man, it's really the first, I'm telling you, we talked about it, it's really the first crisp fall football night that we've had in the Low Country.
I got timeout on the offense. Last 1.5.
Second down, going to be about 7 coming out of the timeout. Timberland only has 47 seconds with which to work. What have you seen in the first half that they can go to offensively?
Well, with no timeouts left, as our head official just alluded to, you got to imagine they're going to run something to the sidelines here. Both teams have struggled to throw the ball in the air. Look for them maybe to go back to Keyshawn Brown. He's been their sure-handed guy, and I know I keep talking about him. We had him in single coverage last time we were down here in the red zone. But Rashad White on the outside, this kid that can really go up and snag the football. They got to allow and trust Gavin Gaskins to throw it here. Obviously, they've gashed him on the ground, and if they're going to continue to do so running the football, they're obviously going to have to go up tempo. They're going to have to get it outside the tackle boxes. But if you're Oceanside, you want to force everything to the middle of the field. Again, bend, don't break. Try to keep them out of the end zone.
So Gaskins and Hampton in the backfield. Receiver either side. May take a shot up top to Edwards here. Looking this way. Edwards outside. Did he go get it? He did. Touchdown, Gavin Edwards. You just kind of felt like they might go to their go-to receiver, and the big man went and got one.
I mean, dude, go up and dunk on him. He got moused in double coverage, the free safety over top with two-man on him. It didn't matter. He's going to go up and get it. And give credit to Gavin Gaskins. It's the first half he's going to forget, but a perfect ball where only his guy can go get it. Watch the young man go climb the ladder.
Timberland strikes first and just before the half. Could an upset be brewing?
I don't know, man. There's something in the air here out of Timberland High tonight.
Pollen. The try no good as Timberland goes for it. And Oceanside will have 40 seconds to try to get something done in the first half, but
that's about on par with the way this first half has gone, though.
It is. Well, Timberland doesn't kick.
Oh, okay. I mean,
say it again.
Be a little creative. Go to the big fella again.
Another look at the touchdown. Gavin Edwards. Nice ball, like you said, to the outside. Gave his receiver a chance, and he went up in the air and got it. Just a big-time play from Gavin Edwards.
You know, we talked about it right before that big-time play. You got to allow him to go fail, right? No fear of failure. This is a big-time opportunity to win the conference championship. On the other end, will they allow Devin Yard to try to stretch the ball downfield with just the 2 timeouts with 40 seconds to go? Will Ocean try to go score here?
Jenkins kicks off as well. I just realized that. Boots it with the left foot. Nice kick. And Oceanside, decent field position on the return by Hagedon out near the 35-yard line.
He's your tailback. He's your Mike linebacker. He's going to kick. Let the kid kick some field goals, too. I mean, are we going to see him take a snap at quarterback tonight, too, as well? Mark Jenkins all over the ball field. It's an NFL touchdown, by the way, as we get our Palmetto replay.
Yeah, able just to get up and over span and
2 feet in.
Pull it in. Really, really good look at it. Nice camera work. Edward Reidenbach back out for quarterback side. Reidenbach, excuse me. Might have just been sat down for a series, just a chance to take a breather or two. Calm down a little bit. His team down 6-0. Going to take a shot deep here, though. Receiver has a step to the inside, but couldn't quite catch up to it. That was Kraftchick. Jace Kraftchick.
Again, and we talked about it as well, those are two that first half that are very unlike this Oceanside offense. They ride everything through balance, right? They want to be able to run the ball down your throat, extend the ball downfield. Obviously got a huge arm, right? The intangibles off the chart. There's a reason this Edward Reidenbach kid has been one of the better quarterbacks at 2A level. Can he kind of calm the nerves, understand there's a lot of ball game left, rely on your big offensive line, find a way to get it back in it. Love to see him keep taking a couple more shots. A big-time throw there.
Good look at Greg Wright a second ago. His defense right now controlling this football game. Again, played at South Carolina.
I got timeout for the offense. Second one of the half.
Timberland went 9-2 a year ago. They had hopes when they went into the postseason at 9-1. Really great regular season. They had hopes of maybe making a run towards some sort of a state semifinal, a lower state championship or a state championship. And came up short, and that left a bitter taste in their mouth. But now they have a chance this year to flip the script and go the other way. Disappointing first 6 games, some tough losses. potentially could flip that script with a win tonight and really set the table in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's personnel over scheme, right? But when you have some of your bigger guys down for the year, you talked about Amari Jenkins, who was out 4 games going into this season. You get a guy back like this in this big time of a game, it gives your team an entirely different vibe and juice, an opportunity to win a region championship.
Oceanside decides against taking too many chances here to close the first half. They trail only 6-0. That PAT could be huge, or that 2-point conversion could be huge in the second half. But right now, an upset brewing through 2 quarters here on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Trying to see if we can get Coach Wright for a question or two just before halftime. Looks like he's headed over to Trooper Bob. Let's go down to the field with Bob, who's with Greg Wright.
Hey, Coach, your defense held them the whole half of the game. You just ended up scoring just before the half. Is your team playing up to your expectations?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. Like I said, I got a great club. You know, we had some early on injuries throughout the year. We played up, a lot of division, but I got a great group that fight and persevere. So, this is what we expect. We put the work in, so this is what we expect. But they're a great ball club, so we got to play. It's 0-0.
Best of luck in the second half. Thank you for your time.
Timberland trying to pull off the upset in 2A and claim the region championship. They have the only touchdown of the first half. Gavin Edwards with the reception. The Wolves, right now, they're pounding their way to a 6-0 lead over Oceanside Collegiate.
Welcome to the Palmetto Pride Halftime Report.
Palmetto Pride Halftime Report. Litter trashes everyone. Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Best game of the year to this point.
Was that good?
To do it? Nice. Little halftime field goal contest. We were talking off air. We're like, no way. Can't happen.
40-yard field goals for just the kids sitting in the stands. He just may have earned himself a spot in playing college somewhere. It's unbelievable.
He's going to be on the roster. He's $1,000.
Yeah.
Really nice.
We should be out there kicking. I should have brought my spikes.
Each week, David Ayler Law Offices and Reiners Law Group is proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. The students selected will have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Tonight's scholar athletes are first for Oceanside Collegiate, Bryson Harple. Harple has a 4.8 GPA. He is a 2-time state tennis champion, team captain in tennis. National Honor Society member and Echo Food Bank volunteer. Bryson Harple from Oceanside Collegiate. And for Timberland, who else? Keyshawn Brown. We said we would hear his name again tonight. 4.12 GPA, all region and all state in football, active in and around Berkeley County youth programs, and also is on Ivy League radars for football in the near future. An offer from Dartmouth as of late. Really special young man, Keyshawn Brown. Those are David Ayler Law Office's scholar athletes. Here's the lucky man winning $1,000 on the halftime field goal contest.
Absolutely, and I think that's kind of the fun, blessing about doing these ball games, right? Like, talk about the David Ayler student athlete to kind of get the behind-the-scenes story behind some of these incredible student athletes, but what an incredible story at halftime as well.
Let's go to Scotty Eisberg, who was with David Ayler.
As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention.
Joined now by David Ayler of the Ayler Law Offices, talking scholar athletes, and year in, year out we do this, David, and year in, year out we get amazing, amazing entrants. This year, no different.
Of course. Every single year since the first time I did it, I didn't even know these GPAs existed. You could have doubled my GPA, and I might have gotten to where most of these folks got.
Sure.
But it's not just amazing what they've done in the classroom or on the field or in the court, also what they've done in their community, through church, through different nonprofits. These are well-rounded young adults that will only continue to succeed. So it's great to be a part of it, and I'm happy about it being a part of it again this year.
Why do you do it each and every year? It's almost like your name is now associated with it. What is it that kind of leads you to this one every year?
Well, when you think about it from the standpoint of just investment in young people, they're just exciting to see, and a lot of them I still stay in touch with, or their families afterwards, and then of course they continue to succeed and then through a career.
David Ayler sponsoring our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
We'll be right back with more from the Palmetto Pride Halftime Report. Welcome. Welcome to the Palmetto Pride Halftime Report.
Back on the Friday Rivals Halftime Report, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Holy City Heating and Air time and temperature for Friday Night Rivals, 8:40 p.m., 61 degrees. It was warm and sunny all week long, but it cooled off in the last 24 hours, and it's a perfect late October night for football.
Conference championship weekend, man. Mother Nature knew that needed to bless us a little crisp fall air.
We had a little drizzle before the game started, but it kind of got out of here, and perfect night for football. Now time for the Delta Force All-Stars Cheers of the Game after These cheers are, after you see these cheers, you can go online and vote. But first, here are your two candidates for the Delta Force All-Stars cheer of the game. Fans, we're giving you the opportunity to vote for tonight's Delta Force All-Stars cheer of the game. Log on to abcnews4.com/poll and vote for either of tonight's cheers, either Oceanside Collegiate or Timberland. Cast a vote for the Delta Force All-Stars cheer of the game. Results later tonight during the game. Week number 10, season finale. Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruise Chevrolet. We have a massive upset brewing. Timberland, they lead number 1 Ocean Collegiate by a touchdown at the half.
All right, guys, I'm down here on the sidelines with the coach from Oceanside. Coach, you're only down by 6, a lot more game to go in the second half. What do you tell your team at halftime to keep their head in the game?
Yeah, I mean, we got to execute better. We've had plenty of opportunities on both sides of the ball and just haven't executed at all. Really, really poor execution, and obviously that'll get you beat.
You stick with the game plan or any major change?
No changes. 100% going to be the exact same thing. We just got to execute. I mean, it's that simple. We've had 4 or 5 receivers open with, easy chances. We had a callback touchdown already, so I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with the game plan. We got to do a better job of executing and get ready to play.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Best of luck in the second half. Thank you very much. All right, guys, there you have it. You heard it from Coach, and I'll send it back to you guys upstairs.
Chad Wilkes, his team in an unfamiliar spot here at halftime. They trail 6-0 to Timberland, but it's a talented football team. Timberland right now has been up to the task. It's going to be a really interesting second. A nice trophy and the Scholar Athletes plaques at the end of the season are provided by All-American Awards, helping Charleston recognize excellence since 1993. Take a look at some highlights from the first half. Weren't many offensive highlights. A lot of key penalties, some big plays called back. The early touchdown by Timberland and a couple of big runs by Oceanside. So the defense has really dominated.
Absolutely. You saw the miscues from the quarterbacks early on in this ball game. Just the timing between quarterbacks on both sidelines was an issue. But with that being said, Coach Wilkes probably gave his team an earful at halftime. What better team to rely on and turn to, right? So far in this ball game, time of possession has been crucial. Can Oceanside continue to control the line of scrimmage, which is what they have been able to do really all year? Take care of the football, control the line of scrimmage. Whoever does that in the second half is going to find themselves region champions.
You look at the Oceanside offense. It's the Oceanside offense. It's not used to being held down like this. Edward Reidenbach might need to just settle down a little bit. This first drive is going to be key.
Absolutely. Again, they haven't played in a ton of close ball games this year, right? So this is foreign territory. Not give kudos to Timberland, what they've been able to do athletically to really hang with a much bigger Oceanside team. That Timberland sideline's given Oceanside a lot to think about, especially with the speed that they have on the outside.
Upset brewing here on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, the #1 team in 2A. Oceanside Collegiate trails Timberland at the half, 6-0. Second half kickoff is next. A couple of huge, we talked about it in the pregame, there are a couple of huge region championships games tonight in the Low Country, Somerville, Fort Dorchester, Lucy Beckham, James Island. Oceanside, Timberland, maybe not what people thought would be there at 5 weeks into the season, but now that they've gotten to region play, and might have the best of the three.
Absolutely. We mentioned it, right? If you go look at the strength of schedule, right, you don't make excuses for the overall 3-6 record on Timberland's sidelines. But at the end of the day, what Timberland showed in conference, right? You barely had big England team that struggled this year. Oceanside blew them out of the water. They were only able to beat them 6-0. Throw the records out the window, though, folks. Here in this second half, senior night here at Timberland High, they've got an opportunity. They're just one half of football away from crowning themselves conference and region champs.
Oceanside will get it to start the second half. You talked about the complete game. That might be out the door for Oceanside, but all they have to do is put together a complete half. And the be relentless thing, I think, still stands very true for Timberland. This will be Virgilio on the return. He's out across the 30, shoved out of bounds at the 34. Pretty good starting field position to start the third quarter. For Oceanside Collegiate, what do they need to do offensively to get going here on this first drive?
I think it's reestablishing that balance on the offensive side of the football. Obviously, no Von Blue here in tonight's contest, but Tucker Swisher has been a guy that they can really rely on. And with that offensive line, they really need to play smash mouth football, start playing downhill, stay on time with the chains. You've seen them kind of find themselves into those third and long situations. They can find a way to stay on time. Accuracy is going to be huge. Take care of the football. Rely on your big offensive front. Break that balance, and they're going to be A-OK.
Your score bug in the third quarter is brought to you by David Ayler Law Offices, your client-focused, community-driven injury firm. Right back to Zach Hegedon on the carry to start the second half, and he pops it in there for a couple, but sticking out that big left arm and stopping him pretty quickly was Ethan Milligan. Man, I like that group inside. It's Milligan, it's Ham, it's Ruben Lawrence, it's Tyler Cameron. You see what Greg Wright likes about this defense.
Absolutely. You talk about young, right? Even Tavian Lawrence playing on that outside of the defense. This group is fast. They're big and strong. Clearly unscared of that big height and size on that Oceanside front that everyone keeps clamoring about.
See if they try to go back behind Freeling. Really more in the A-gap there. And a couple of yards for Hegedon, but it'll bring up third down and about, they'll call it a long 4 for the Land Sharks.
Absolutely. If we go back and look at that, Freeling absolutely put a huge shot on number 51, Tyler Cameron, on the outside. Hegedon, a guy that doesn't normally get a ton of snaps to the running back position, but because of how skillful he is with the ball in his hands, playing a little bit of H-back tonight so far. The only advice you could probably give him is, hey, maybe run behind the big fella on the left side of the ball.
5 wide for Reidenbach. Out in the flat it goes, complete. He's got his tight end Brown again, and he's to midfield. Brown tackled by Brown. What did Brown do for you?
Love that.
Trey Brown tackled by Kylan Brown. Not Keyshawn Brown, who's also on the field.
How about this right here? He needs one of those tearaway jerseys taken down by number 4 on the defensive side of the ball, Kylan Brown. But Trey Brown's an impressive young athlete, man. Look at the size. No wonder he both sides of the football see him at tight end and linebacker. He's a guy late in the game where the defense starts to wear down and feed the big fella.
First Mr. Sparky first down of the third quarter, and Reidenbach gets right to work. Is it Yard or Reidenbach? It is Reidenbach. He shows a quick push there. And ends up picking about 22 yards on the play.
And you love,
just like that, Ocean on the move.
He talked to you, an RPO there, right? Ball was in Hegedon's chest, and he just pulls it, picks up a big-time Mr. Sparky's first down.
Running this way, Hegedon running room outside in the red zone and down to the 14-yard line, and 3 or 4 big chunk plays. You know, Timberland held on the first 2 runs, couple of yards. Then they get the pass complete, and that popped a couple of big plays. And just like that, the Land Sharks on the move and quickly back to the line. Reidenbach, Hegedon. And he'll pick up about 5 on first down into the Boone Hall Fright Nights red zone.
And you're starting to see it. Oceanside starting to get back into pace of how they like to play the game. They love to go up tempo, control the line of scrimmage, get defensive lines really. You're going to see a lot of hands on hips here as they try to punch the ball into the end zone. But even on the Reidenbach big time quarterback scurry on that RPO, right? He knows. Go run behind the big guy. So oftentimes offensive linemen don't get a lot of love. On this team, they do.
Swisher swaps sides. Reidenbach. And the play blown dead, and a quick timeout asked for by Oceanside Collegiate.
Timeout. Defense. First 1.5.
Yeah, I thought so. The official pointed to the offense, but I was like, well, he's standing next to Greg Wright, and I would think it would be the defense that would want the timeout there, and so it was. He just pointed the wrong way.
And you're going to see a one-score game. That's a timeout.
Say that again,
Coach
Sam.
Wright really might wish he had late in
You
the
said
game.
staying here. I got
You're going
you.
to start to see Oceanside push that up-tempo offense, right? When you got an offensive line that can really get upfield. I mean, obviously, we talk about the height of Monroe Freeling, but what makes him the number one player in the state of South Carolina? It's his ability to move, right? He's so agile for such a big fella. Really, the entire offensive line can do it, too. Ben Britton, a guy that gets really physical but moves well for a big body. When they start to go up-tempo like this is when they're tough to defend.
Monroe Freeling, Timmy Castine, Eddie Portels, Ben Britton, Mike Jones, that offensive line for Oceanside. It's an Oceanside team that has yet to allow 100 points this season. Right now they're looking to add to the 285 points they've scored this year. They've outscored their opponents by 204 points. Second and about 6. Little bubble screen out wide, complete. Has it to Bryce Bennett. Bennett angling for the pylon. And out of bounds inside the 5. Bennett was the nearest man to Reidenbach. And a flag down on the play. And this one might be coming back.
It's like he may have just held him for a second too long on the containment on the outside. I think they're going to get number 12, Kraftchick.
They're talking about it. No official signal yet, but holding's been a big penalty for Oceanside in this football game so far.
We've seen a lot of that yellow hanky on the gridiron today. Curious to see if they pick it up.
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to penalize them.
About as much confusion down on the ball field.
I'd be curious to see on the replay because it looked like he scored. Although they didn't signal it.
At first I was surprised.
Yep. I've got a 5-yard face mask on the defense. That is a first down. We're going to go half the distance to the goal. First down.
I thought he scored on the replay, but Oceanside quickly to the line. They don't seem to be concerned about it. They're going to try to punch it in. So it ended up being a 5-yard incidental face mask and not a hold. Reidenbach will sneak. He stood up and then might have punched through. He did. Touchdown, Oceanside.
The Landsharks of Oceanside Academy.
Was turned back on that initial push. Kind of bounced off of his offensive line, but stuck with it and popped back into the end zone, and Oceanside's on the board.
There's your first tried and technical college touchdown of the game. Let's give a whole lot of credit to the junior quarterback, Edward Reidenbach. Calm, cool, and collective here in the second half. Looking to change the tides after a first half.
Oceanside will go for 2. Direct snap to the backup yard. He heads left with it. Can't get there.
No good.
So he's turned back, but Oceanside on the board. Edward Reidenbach much sharper here in the second half. He's the difference maker on the initial touchdown drive for Oceanside Collegiate. They've tied it up 6-6 in a region title game on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Final Friday night rivals of the season, final regular season night of high school football around the Low Country, and no one more excited with that last touchdown drive than quarterback Edward Reidenbach. He kind of got off the mat, tough first half like you said, but he's fired up and he's happy with what he did with his team on that opening drive in the second half. Kick taken here, Edwards with a seam. Edwards up the middle of the field, now across the 45-yard line. And back to Reidenbach. I mean, just showed a lot of emotion after that touchdown.
Absolutely, and you could tell it means a lot to him. This has been his team. He's been the quarterback for this ball club this entire season. Just weeks removed from the postseason, you know it's emotional to get pulled out of a ball game. That's his spot. It's his role. Team starting to take maybe the form of its quarterback, the identity of its quarterback. Coach Wilkes got to be thrilled. Up-tempo has been the key. I think that was really the difference for Oceanside on that opening drive.
If you're Timberland, what do you go back to offensively?
I go back to the big fella, man. Let the young man succeed or fail at quarterback. I mean, he's been a guy that's been really successful for Timberland, but when you continue to stretch the ball downfield, Oceanside has shown some flaws in that secondary, but, I mean, you've seen a lot of Demarion Hampton bouncing to the outside. I'm sure they'll go back to him to control that time of possession, as we referred to coming out of the break.
Hampton hits it. Just as Jack said, he'll pick up a yard or two, running over that left side, trying to follow Ethan Milligan and Keith.
Isn't he a lot of fun to watch play? And nose guard, Timmy Castaigne. He just seems to always be around the football, right? A big push up front. He's been a guy that both sides of the football for really the last 3 years for the Land Sharks. Just a fun player, a gamer.
Reminds you, he and Josh Hamm are very similar. They like being in the middle of it the whole time.
Absolutely.
All of those types of guys here to Low Country. A little fake pass out here to the flat, and it was actually a keeper. A little running play for Hampton the whole way. Faked me out. Gaskins turned and acted like he was going to throw it toward the sideline, and Hampton had it the whole time. But quickly, 3rd and 6.
And this is a huge one, right? Can Oceanside get off the field on 3rd down? And even here, can Timberland find a way to flip the field position? Obviously, Oceanside coming out and getting a quick strike. Again, kind of in that middle ground. Haven't seen any field, but would be shocked to see a punt here on 4th down, maybe 4th down territory. It's early in the game, but
I'm not sure we're going to see any kicks tonight. Changes week to week in high school football. Hampton again, and with that call, Oceanside feels like the ball came out late. Maybe they have it. I think Greg Wright might go for it here, might punt it away.
With that
very conservative, just trying to flip the field. Comfortable with his defense out there right now, but Oceanside heating up.
Absolutely. With that 3rd down play call, surprised that they didn't go for it on 4th down, but it's a really nice play on that Oceanside secondary. I believe we had on the play number 20, Max Mormon, the sophomore linebacker.
3rd quarter replay brought to you by Cruz Chevrolet. Cruz Chevrolet on Rivers. You've got a friend in the car business. Gavin Edwards has Timberland's lone touchdown tonight, and here he has a punt down inside the 15-yard line.
Ball is down around the 12, 13.
And there might be a flag down on the far side of the field. We'll see if this backs up Oceanside, or it gives them better field position. St. Stephen, South Carolina. We're 45 minutes or an hour northeast of Charleston. If you live in Mount Pleasant, you drove up through the Francis Marion National Forest today.
I got a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. That's a 15 first down.
So some extracurricular on the far sideline is going to erase Edwards' decent punt, and the ball will come out across the 30-yard line. And Oceanside Collegiate will have good field position to start their second drive. Already scored on their first here in the second half.
Absolutely. That was a boot from Gavin Edwards, by the way. We've seen the stuff that Timberland defense. We see him already.
Best kicker in the stadium right now. This dude's running around with $1,000 that he won at halftime. He's the best. He's the best boot in the stadium.
That kid's gonna go find somewhere to kick next year.
What happened? We saw the 2 warm-ups and he topped them both 10 yards. But when the money's on the line, some guys are just money.
Dude, maybe there's some extracurricular game. He hustled somebody. It's an unreal kick.
Hagedon on 1st down. Flag comes in. Another flag comes in.
Tackle by number 6.
And so we'll let the officials one out. We have had a lot of laundry.
I was going to say, wait, a penalty flag? What?
I got holding. That's a hard penalty. First down.
So Oceanside will be backed up. It'll be about 1st and 12 because the flag's already downfield. So you go forward to the spot and come back 10 yards.
You saw two pancakes in the backfield, by the way. The right guard, Timmy Castaigne, absolutely flat ironed somebody back there. Monroe Freeling, beyond pleased to see it, but it's a really physical up front. Now kind of moving backwards again, but can they establish that up-tempo offense, try to get more points on the board?
First down and about 14 for Oceanside. Midway point, third quarter, 6-6. Region championship game. Both teams headed to the playoffs. They know that. But on senior night, can Timberland, one of those storybook moments, knock off the #1 team in the state? Complete. In the flat to Trey Brown, and he has the penalty back plus a couple. And it's second down and pretty manageable for the Land Sharks.
We talked about it. Trey Brown's a big target there on the outside. There's a reason he plays on both sides of the football, but how about the tackle from Gavin Edwards? He's all by himself. He's on an island with the big fella. Saw him in the punt game. Saw him right. We are Moss and someone. Nice tackle on the outside there.
So second down, 8 Oceanside. Very deliberate right now. Play call comes in from the sideline. Reidenbach running. Has a seam and has a burst across midfield. A couple of chunk runs here in the second half for Edward Reidenbach, and he is a totally different player. He right now is delivering for his #1 Land Sharks.
And I love the design quarterback play here. Again, it's an RPO. He just takes it right out the chest, and he just takes off down the field. It's not elite speed, but it's crafty enough to beat the defense. Almost a little Sam Ellinger-esque. OU action. Just takes off right down the middle of the seam. You're right, the confidence, big time here in the second half from Reidenbach.
A Mr. Sparky first down into Timberland territory. Swisher on the carry. He weaves his way through traffic and picks up 8. Really good run there by Tucker Swisher. Reminder, Vaughn Blue, the #1 running back for Oceanside Collegiate, is out this week. Expected to be back for the playoffs. He's a UNC Charlotte commit and has some really mid-FBS attention starting to stack up around him. So there's a major talent that's not on the football field tonight for Oceanside.
Absolutely. And as a running back, what better line to run to? Maybe in the entire state. You see Timmy Castaigne 10 yards downfield, driving his man off the ball. So much attention goes to Monroe Freeling. Wonder why, because he's the best player in the state. The rest of this offensive line is wildly impressive as well.
#1 on the carry.
Reidenbach again keeps it on the read option. Flag flies in from somewhere near. He's 30 yards away. But a holding penalty will come in, and Timberland will accept the
I've got
penalty.
holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, I can't wait to stat check after the game if there were more passes thrown or flags thrown.
Against the Sharks.
Just holding penalties. They're all being called right now. But
holding on the offense, a 10-yard penalty. Then a first down. All right, we still.
Wait.
So since it was far enough downfield, it would still be a first down. It would just be 1st and 10. So the run ends up being a net about 12-yard run instead of a 22-yard run.
See the frustration with Coach Wilson. Think about close. I believe it's 6 offensive holding calls for this Oceanside
somewhere
team.
5 to 8.
Yeah, and all of them are on the outside. None of them are up front.
Swisher over that left side picks up 8. It's coming a little easier right now for Oceanside, especially on the ground. The seams and the holes are just a little bigger behind that offensive line.
Right, and you're going to see defense-wise, personnel-wise, they're going to look to switch some guys out right now, but they wear you down with how big they are up front.
Second and about 3 for the Sharks.
Josh Hamm had taken a couple of plays off. He checks back in. That makes a big difference for that Timberland front. Helmet comes off in the middle of the line. And I think Swisher's near first down yardage.
Atkins.
It's kind of a two-way street. Desmond Green lost his helmet on the play. The big freshman center on offense and defensive tackle or nose guard on defense. these are two small rosters. There's only 35, 40 players on either team max. So some of these guys are getting tired.
Absolutely. And especially when you have to play on both sides of the football, you're expected to play close to 50 to 60 snaps a night.
Swisher didn't get the first down, so Reidenbach just sneaks to the line, takes it himself, and picks up the first down.
Picks up the first down.
And back, if you will.
Hey, Boone Hall Fright Night, Halloween right around the corner. Boone Hall Fright Night Red Zone, make your screams come true.
I've yet to do that, Reader.
It's right up my alley.
It's awesome.
I would have wore a Halloween costume tonight if they let me.
Sean loves it. You do a great job with it.
First and 10.
It's not my energy.
Not going trick-or-treating this week?
I will not be trick-or-treating this week. Reidenbach, the keeper, powers his way through a tackle at the 5 and takes it in for a touchdown. The Land Sharks imposing their will, and they have their first lead of the night. That drive right there is why they are the #1 team in the state.
Absolutely, and another Triton Technical College. You can see emotion, right? He had the job maybe taken from the first half. Was it to wake him up? Was it to jolt the offense? Whatever it was, it worked. Because Edward Reidenbach is running downhill. He's running angry, and he just extended the lead for the Land Sharks.
Oceanside, back-to-back touchdown drives to start the third quarter, and they have answered the bell. Now can they add the conversion? Little play action out into the flat, wide open, 2 points.
2-point attempt.
I love
Edward Reidenbach has been a completely different player here in the second half. That time he got it to Swisher. It was Max Mormon, the linebacker, who snuck in there. But Reidenbach runs through a tackle at about the 6 and in for the touchdown. And his legs, mixed in with some timely passes, especially to Trey Brown, have been the difference here in the second half.
Absolutely. When he's really good, you can see on that 2-point conversion, right? Swag, the confidence is building. The touch on that nice little play. You saw a couple plays downfield in the middle of the seam. He's missed a couple guys that, those are throws that he wishes he could have back. But it's been the legs that have been the difference maker, right? We talked about it. It's not necessarily elite, blow you out of the water speed, but it's just the football savvy, the football IQ for his ability to get downfield, RPO, read the defense. He's been able to did a couple of A-gaps say run behind that big offensive line. It's been the legs in the second half that's been the difference.
Kylan Brown had a chance to save the touchdown, and he saved a couple here tonight, but Reidenbach won that battle.
Isn't the player comp similar, almost like an Elger? It's a heavy runner downfield. He's tough to tackle, big lower half.
He's a linebacker running with a football. It reminds you a little of Taysom Hill.
I like that one.
Kickoff taken by Sumter at about the 15-yard line, and he scampers up the left side out near the 40. Good field position for Timberland, but they've got to find some offense. Fan Cam, sponsored by Fan Zone, all your sports teams gear under one.
Absolutely, those fans are fired up, looking to get Timberland fired up and ready to roll here. We didn't question it. We just understood the dominance and the powerhouse that Oceanside was going to confront Timberland tonight. We'd be fools to count them out now as the second half. That speed offensively. Maybe take a couple shots downfield. Find your guy, number 11, Gavin Edwards. Take a couple shots.
Yeah, going to have to do something in the passing game to loosen it up. Damari Middleton is the new running back in. He picks up a yard or two on first down.
And as we talked about, you go win a region championship. You're going to trust Gavin Gaskins to take a couple shots downfield.
Yeah, a little wishbone look over the left side. This has been the bread and butter. This is Jenkins. This is a first down, and he's dragged down by the front of his jersey out of bounds at the 40, but might have rolled his ankle at the end of the play. Nice power running over the left side by the senior. He's just a little gippy, wants to walk it off.
We talked about taking a shot downfield, but look at the mismatch here. Look at the big fella. It's a really nice tackle, though, by the safety. We talked about his brother a couple times tonight. Grayson Freeling, the free safety. They able to hold on, drag him out of bounds. Grayson Freeling, an unreal athlete to big-time play. He had a lot of room to go if he gets by him.
But didn't want to stick his nose in there with the big man coming at him either.
Business decision. Smart young man.
So Timberland answering. Good kickoff for good run by Jenkins. We've seen some talent tonight. Freeling, Amari Jenkins, Oceanside late subbing. And I think Chad Wilkes jumped out and asked for timeout. He did.
Timeout on the field.
Final minute of the third quarter.
I got timeout for the defense. First one of the half.
Happy not to hear that gentleman's voice with a holding call attached to it. So quick timeout there on the substitutions by Chad Wilkes. Oceanside right now trying to catch their breath. Timberland hanging around. They gave up the 2 touchdown drives to start the third quarter, and here you see Freeling, a little bit of an arm tackle on Jenkins, and that's more said than done. But he did land on his ankle there at the end of the play, and that was why Jenkins was slow to get up. Now let's go down to the sidelines to Trooper Bob, who kind of has a really good look at what's going on in that Timberland sideline.
What's he saying?
Little counteraction. They go with Middleton the other direction, but can't pop it. And final minute, third quarter, clock runs. Key third down in this football game. Tavion Smalls, an extra tight end, will check in.
Clock winding down. Got to imagine it's 4-down territory here. I jumped the gun on the last possession around the 50. Imagine they might try to go for it as Oceanside was really starting to feel themselves offensively. But
little screen for Timberland.
Going to be something. They're going to take the snap, it looks like. So
yeah, they've tried that tunnel screen a couple of times in third down long situations. Gaskins, empty backfield set, actually direct snap Sumter, and he's popped at the 30-yard line after gaining a couple. Big hit coming up from Max Mormon. Brings us to the end of the third quarter. Oceanside 14 unanswered here in the third. Number 1 team trying to get out of here with a win. Well, exactly what you would want from a region championship game on the final night of the regular season. Oceanside Collegiate. Sloppy first half, big third quarter, but Timberland trying to answer here as we start the fourth. They lead, Oceanside leads 14-6. Key fourth down play. Sumter keep around the right end, chased down again by Mormon, and Oceanside holds.
And that first in the backfield weekend, we've said his name all night, Zach Hegedon, an explosive athlete at that quarterback position. He was first there to get to Sumter. I was a little surprised by the play call there, 4th and 4. Obviously, Sumter's legs have been an impact all night long, but maybe take a shot.
Yeah, there was some confusion either after the play or on the play. It was almost like, couldn't tell at the end of it what the confusion was on the Timberland sideline. Might have wanted a horse collar. But nevertheless, Oceanside holds, and that's a key stop.
Well, we talked about it. Bend, don't break. No better time for this Timberland defensive line to make their presence felt. Oceanside really one big drive away from icing this thing.
22.
Hand off to Swisher over the right side, near first down yardage. Did he lose the football late? Timberland says so. Oh, it was really close. Going to be called down, but he was punched right as he went to the ground. As we see the replay, and Oceanside may have dodged one there. Swisher on the play. Well, there's a lot happening right now. It's hard to keep up with it.
As you're going to see here, Swisher looks like really patient running here. That ball might get popped out right here at the end of the play by big number 55. Said his name all night.
Unlucky there for Timberland, but you know, high school, they don't have the views. The officials don't have the monitor to go look at something like that. Keyshawn Brown looked like he had a clear recovery. Here's a little bubble screen that worked for the touchdown or near a touchdown moments ago for Bryce Bennett. Works well the other way, out across midfield. And that's a West Shore home first down for Oceanside. And they right now have been in the second half just an offensive juggernaut.
And don't you love what they've been able to do offensively? You've seen Bryce Bennett now twice on that kind of little sweeping screen. Really electric. I mean, athleticism on the outside. Salt trying to get to the pylon on that second possession. But Reidenbach getting comfortable into this ball game. Throwing a couple screens. Quick slant. Allow him to get comfortable into this ball game.
Number 3 on the carry.
Hagedorn has been quite a third quarter, but not here. Has another first down. And is inside the 35-yard line. Late flag comes in.
Driven on the down by number 53.
Might have been a late holding call or a face mask as Hagedorn was dragged out of bounds. I think it was a face mask.
That might be the horse collar that Timberland was looking for on that last drive.
I got a dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Personal foul.
I didn't see the late hit, but I saw.
Let's see as we check out the David Ayler instant replay. It's definitely something late, but Hagedorn, again, man, he's been the impact piece for this ballgame in the second half. See a horse collar there, maybe wrapped it around, but I don't know.
I didn't see a whole lot there. That was he kind of spun around inbounds and then thrown down late. Nevertheless, Oceanside on the move. Their offense right now clicking on all cylinders. Reidenbach to Swisher, and Swisher will pick up. Reidenbach might have kept it, actually, and he'll pick up 3 or 4.
I think we got a new running back in the ballgame. You talked about Von Blue going down. You saw Hagedorn a little limp after that last defensive stand. Swisher coming off the field. I think that was number 37, Cale Gilchrist, the sophomore. Got him listed as a defensive lineman, the big above there, but ladies and gentlemen, Halloween right there corner. Make sure to go check out Boone Hall Fright Night as we have entered the red zone. It's been an OC's worst nightmare. Make your screams come true, ladies and gentlemen.
It is Gilchrist. This is Reidenbach. Pops it up the middle. Reidenbach to the house. Touchdown, Oceanside. Edward Reidenbach has made a massive difference here in the second half. Totally different here. He's put this offense on his back, and he's changed this football game.
Talked about in the open, the tale of two different programs. 3-0 in the conference, excuse me, in the region. Talk about the tale of two different halves. It's a totally different quarterback. They sat him down. They gave the senior Devin Yard the opportunity. Now in the second half, he's been unbelievable with his third rushing touchdown of the night.
David Ayler Law Office replay. Your client-focused, community-driven injury firm. Reidenbach. Little push-up at the end of it.
Run.
And Yard comes in. He spells Reidenbach on the 2-point play. And this offensive line simply imposing its will. Well, Timberland led at the half 6-0. They'd shut out Oceanside with the they've controlled the second half. 22 unanswered for Oceanside Collegiate, the #1 team in the state. A 22-6 lead here on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. 22 straight points here in the second half for the number one team in the state in 2A, Oceanside Collegiate. They have run behind that big offensive line, but Edward Rodenbach has certainly flipped a switch with his legs.
Absolutely. And you talk about it. Calm, cool, and collected here in this second half. He's completely switched the script. Going into the this Oceanside team really geared up to make a big-time run of that state championship. It's the kind of performance you love to see out of quarterback.
Sumter's been dangerous with the ball in his hands tonight. Pops one here. Across midfield, Sumter in a foot race. Could lightning strike for Timberland? It does. Javaris Sumter, touchdown. He has been electric tonight. Didn't play the first time we had him on Friday Night Rivals against Philip Simmons. He's made all the difference in the world for the Timberland Wolves.
Well, he did it on the opening kickoff of the game. Lightning strikes twice, apparently. A young man. Talked about the offense, talked about the defense. Region championship game. It's the special teams making their presence here now.
I got sideline warning on the home team.
Look at the David Ayler Law Office's replay. Sumter, 87 yards officially. And we'll go for 2. Good athlete. He's got that high-end speed, and you give him a seam, he's gone. He showed it twice tonight. First one was called back. That one was not. I think there was a penalty on the PAT.
They issued a sideline warning on the Timberland team. Can you blame them? They're playing for a region championship here. Kid takes his second ball back to everybody. I mean, come on, man. How the guys to celebrate? It's a big-time moment in the game. Give them a little bit of hope. Spark a little bit of hope for them to get back in this football game. 2-point conversion here. 1-score game. We got ourselves a ball game.
Huge 2-point conversion, because if it's not, it stays a 10-point game, and then you're kicking back to Oceanside with under 10 minutes to play, and you need it twice more. And maybe a delay of game again.
Looks like they're going to re-spot the ball in that
they're
left
going
hash.
to move it over to the left hash, and that's where they're going to run their play from. Looks like they took. It is a 2-point attempt. It's no good, and the flag. And I know what the confusion is. I'm looking down at the sideline, and the Timberland coaches are all waving at the press box. And what they're saying is to put the points on the board. They had taken the touchdown off the board, which confused everybody.
Interference on the defense. We're going to go half the distance to the goal, and we still got to untie them.
So they put the TD back on the board. Confusion is averted for the moment. There's a flag on the 2-point conversion attempt, and so it'll be another opportunity to try to get the 2-point conversion attempt for Timberland.
Absolutely. And they're going to go look. Hegedon did wrap the arm around the receiver. Gaskins was looking for his guy. It's been his guy all evening. It was Gavin Edwards right there on the pylon. Going to spot the ball back. Nope. Back on the other side. This is a huge moment in the game, though. Curious to see if they go back to the ground. You see Omari Jenkins checking to the ball game.
Jenkins gets it over the left side. Oceanside knew where it was going, and they stopped him. Huge stop on the conversion try by Oceanside, and it remains a 2-score game. That was really interesting because the whole Timberland sideline was looking up at the press box while they were getting ready to run a 2-point conversion play.
Robbed us of our 6 points. They were upset about it. So much for a home scoreboard.
Now it's time for our Holy City Heating and Air Cool play of the game, and Javaris Sumter has to have one of these tonight. He has to have some sort of accolade, and his kickoff return for a touchdown is our cool play of the game. We provide solutions for every season. And so a 10-point lead for Oceanside Collegiate. They had scored 22 unanswered, but the Sumter touchdown return, kickoff return for a touchdown, got it back to within 10. And now Oceanside looking to return the favor. They take it up the right sideline and will have good field position to start this drive.
As Oceanside comes back out here onto the field, Redenbach has been a totally different character here in the second half. Not able to take care of the football here in the second half. Can Timberland force a huge turnover with just under 10 minutes? The way that the ball game has kind of progressed at this time of possession. Can one big lasting drive win Oceanside that region championship, or can Timberland force a big time turnover, find a way to get their offense back in the game?
So first down and 10 for Oceanside at their own 39-yard line. Reidenbach inside give. I think that's Hagedon on the carry, and he's stacked up after about a yard. And
there's a couple. You saw Coach Wilkes come screaming out of the field. It'll be a late hit on Timberland. Got to show a little bit of discipline here late in the
I got a dead ball. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Result down.
There's your explanation. That's a huge penalty on Timberland. Some frustration there. Josh Ham may be the guilty party at the end. The 12 points allowed tonight by Oceanside are the most allowed since all the way back on September 2nd. Just 12. They had not allowed more than 8 points since September 2nd. That was literally every NFL team was undefeated. Texas A&M had national.
Yikes.
That was before college football season started, the last time they allowed double figures. It's crazy. Swisher picks his way for a couple. Oceanside Eagles here. They want to burn some clock. And the score would go a long way toward potentially icing a region championship. And an injury on the field down in the middle of the field, a Timberland player. Try to find out who that is in just a moment. Now time for the Cruz Chevrolet drive of the game.
Which one was it?
Yeah, the first touchdown drive of the second half was really the difference in this football game. Cruz Chevrolet drive of the game. Cruz Chevrolet on Rivers. You've got a friend in the car business. That first drive of the second half really set the tone for Oceanside.
Absolutely. It was like almost a friendly reminder, right? Timberland kind of on top of the world senior night. They come out with a ton of energy. And kudos to them. The athleticism that has really kept them into the game to this point. You see the speed on the special teams, but it was Redenbach that was really kind of allowed himself to get comfortable in the game, right? Slow things down, all the while kind of remaining up tempo. It's a big moment in the game for those guys.
Chad Wilkes and his troops have rallied. Player that was down on the field is up and walking off under his own power. Good to see Ethan Milligan up. Big, physical, strong sophomore, 6 foot 245. Got a bright future ahead of him. Let's go back down to Bob one more time on the sidelines.
Hey guys, it's hard to get a cell phone signal down here, but I'll tell you what you can get right from the trailer behind me. I've been smelling it all night. You can get catfish, whiting, shrimp, and homemade pecan chewies. I know the fair's in town, but who needs an elephant here when you got all this food here behind me?
I can't hear him. What'd he say?
Bob, we can smell it up here. It's just all grease coming right into our nostrils. It's fantastic. If he's still there on the way out, it's dangerous. It is actually true. This is fantastic.
Oh,
just fried food on top of fried food.
I hope we can invite ourselves to the senior dinner afterwards.
As long as he's cooking. Oceanside on the move here. Under 8 minutes to play. Hagedon over the left side. Bounces it outside. Actually, that's Reidenbach, I beg your pardon. And he's inside the 20-yard line, and Edward Reidenbach has had a second half. Has to be over 100 yards rushing this half. A couple of rushing touchdowns.
And you can see when we go back to this David Ayler replay, right? It's very methodical runner, right? He understands what his blocks is. Big-time block out in front by Ben Britton. But watch Bryce Bennett on the outside lay the boom. Reidenbach, methodical, allows his blockers to get set in front. He's really been the difference maker. It's been the left this evening. That's got Oceanside in prime position as they enter another Boone Hall Fright Nights red zone. Make your screams come true.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'll dress up like Edward Reidenbach. I don't know. Me and Oceanside football player go trick-or-treating. Is that how that works?
Not a bad idea.
Yes.
1st and 10. Out of the flat it goes. Pass complete to Bennett. Well, that's been there for him a couple of days. In key moments, they've been able to go to that little bubble screen, and Bennett, I think that's his 3rd here in the second half, and it's been a nice setup play.
Absolutely. We talked about kind of the maturation process for Reidenbach, right? For him, it's going to be trying to find his guys downfield, going through his progressions, then taking off with the legs. But he's been able to get really comfortable in the second half. Kudos to Coach Wilkes and what they've done offensively. Allow him to get really comfortable in the game. Missed a couple throws downfield. Those bubble screens have been his best friend.
You know, we were talking about Halloween a second ago. Remind me to get back to that in a second. I got one more thing I got to tell you. It popped into my head with the food truck. We got to get back to it. Inside running for down inside the 5-yard line. Boy, Oceanside has really started to command control at the line of scrimmage.
And again, not taking away from what Timberland was able to do, but with how physical Oceanside is, they're just going to wear down throughout this year. Find teams, a lot of hands on hips in the second half. Kind of got whatever they wanted in the second half.
Timeout. Defense.
Timberland asked for a timeout. That's a West Shore home 1st down for Oceanside.
Timeout on the field.
And now time for our Will Lou Gray Never Stop Learning stop of the game. First half was filled with turnovers, a couple of them through the air. And both teams with a couple of interceptions in this football game.
Absolutely. You saw the quarterbacks. There's a lot of miscommunication in that first half. Some balls lost a bad snap. But, again, these are throws that wishes you had back. That may have been Amari Jenkins. Absolutely flat-out flies. But Jace Kitchcraft catching them on the backside to make sure they don't get 6. That's a huge one. Again, an ill-advised throw there, but the defenses showed strong in that first half.
Our cheer of the game winner tonight, Delta Force All-Stars cheer of the game, sponsored by Delta Force Athletics, is Timberland High School. Timberland High School cheerleaders. They're happy they won. And playback underway. Swisher going to work trying to put this one away. Runs into the middle of that defensive line and is stopped. Delta Force All-Stars cheer winner, Timberland High School. Just about checked all our boxes for the season.
Hey, that's on a heck of a year, Zeke.
We thought we had time. Oceanside comes running out. They get to the line of scrimmage, and they snap it quick.
Absolutely. Looks like Devin Yard's going to come back in. So Edwin Reidenbach's already got 3 touchdowns. I think they're going to show some love to the senior here. He's going to run a little RPO and sneak into the end zone, making his screams come true.
I think he's dreaming, literally, of a state title. Now Yard over the right side. Did it get there? No signal yet. Down just inside the 1. I could see where he'd be marked down. Looked like his elbow hit kind of on the chalk. And so it'll be 3rd and goal for the Land Sharks. Well, you set this up to play before.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be right. Edward Reidenbach. He's going to go tonight. Massive second half, couple of rushing touchdowns. And he'll add one to it. But the flag comes in from behind, and this is going to be a penalty for him being pushed into the end zone.
Baiting a runner on the offense. That's a foul.
You know, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but the big man has stumbled into the end zone a couple times tonight. I don't think he needed young Tucker Swisher's help on that one.
Evading the runner. It is a penalty.
Sounds like a baseball call. Surprise. All right, how about this? Maybe it's an opportunity for Oceanside to get a little creativity here in the red zone. Opportunity to be a little effective outside of the running game. I'd like to see him go to the big fella. Maybe go back to number 4, Trey Brown. That's a big body at this part of the end zone. Coach
I'm going to say Reidenbach, read option, keeper, touchdown.
Pretty safe. We have seen a lot of Hagedorn. You see Hagedorn in the backfield. It's not going to be number 22, Tucker Swisher. Hagedorn has been all over the field tonight. Box score-wise, it's been all Riedenbach. But Hagedorn's kind of busted a couple huge plays that have kind of exclamation mark on the drive.
I think there's some confusion about how long the penalty is because it's so rarely called. I think he said 5, and they backed it up to the 10.
Marker on the field's also showing 2nd down. It is, in fact, 3rd and goal. Both of these ball clubs, it's 4-down territory, though.
So they walked it back to the spot, and now they've walked it back 5 yards. And so it's 3rd and goal from about the 6-yard line, 5.5-yard line for Oceanside. Number 1 team in the state in 2A, 7-1 on the season. Been tested tonight by Timberland, but looking to potentially put this one out of reach in the final 5 minutes. I'll have to look that up on the way home. I have no idea if that's a 5 or 10-yard penalty. You just never see it.
I have no idea.
You knew what the call was going to be because you saw it happen, and it's the right call.
I was going to say, probably the last time you saw it called was shades of Reggie Bush against Notre Dame, a little Southern Cal Notre Dame action during that Trojan dynasty. The non-call in the end zone when they won the game.
Non-call.
Similar setting.
Breidenbach gets his play call in. 3rd and goal. Little option keeper over the right side. Puts his foot in the ground, goes. And he's inside the 1.
Short of the goal line.
I think
Oceanside's accomplished everything they wanted out of this drive. They've chewed 5 minutes off the clock. Chance to score. And even if you don't score here, you've made it very tough on Timberland to try and put enough offense together to drive the field going the other way.
Absolutely. They're going to check Devin Yard in here for 4th down. Both of those read plays going to the right side. I got to imagine this one's going behind the number 1 tackle in the state of South Carolina, number 1 player in the state of South Carolina. Go ahead and lean on the big fella, number 78, Monroe Freeland, Devin Yard. He'll run behind the big guy.
Timeout on the field.
You know, credit too. We talked about Monroe Freeling all night, the athleticism. He's a guy that's going to play a lot of football for a very long time. Expect to see him on Sundays with the footwork. But comes from an incredible family. A lot of athleticism in the family. His older brother played basketball at Queens College. Parents are incredible staples in the Low Country. His younger brother, free safety in the backfield, which Wilkes Raves. He might be one of the more athletic guys on this team, Grayson. A lot of bright stars in that Freeling family.
Oh, I know what they're confused about because there's a down marker on the far side and the scoreboard post showed 2nd down. The officials are now discussing whether or not it's 3rd and goal or 4th and goal. And I think Chad Wilkes is confused too, but I think the down marker and the scoreboard were both wrong, and I think you were correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we had, if we rethink it,
it was the abating the runner on 3rd down. For some reason, they flipped it back. So should have been repeating the 3rd down play. We're looking at 4th. But if you're Coach Wilkes, might as well.
And so that's the discussion.
After a speedy first half, I think they just wanted us some time to hang out up here. Stall out a bit.
But I don't know what to do about this at this point. It's an interesting situation. They can't go back and change it.
He's the deal, man. He's letting them know, hey, my guys want to play on FNR, my TV Charleston. Shout out to Cruz Chevrolet. I want to play TV a little bit longer. How about that?
Yeah, so we think the down marker's right. Chad Wilkes isn't happy about it. His team wants to go for it.
Bad.
And the Timberland sidelines asking for a penalty.
Timeout.
Timeout asked for by
On
Oceanside.
offense.
Our player of the game sponsored by TEC Equipment Rental. And what an answer in the second half by Oceanside's Edward Breidenbach.
It's the football IQ, right? You talked about it. very Taysom Hill-esque. The young man found his way in the end zone 3 times in the second half. But really, the ability to bounce back after a first half he's going to want to forget. Go ahead and take that huddle film, throw it in the trash can. Ability to really rise to the occasion in arguably the largest moment of the season to this point for Oceanside. This is the second half that if you're Coach Wilkes and this Oceanside, you love to see him bounce back. Go ahead, show off the push-ups, young man. It's a huge second half. Hopefully, clinch yourself a region championship.
Player of the game sponsored by TEC Equipment Rental. This season's end zone scissor lift is provided by TEC Equipment Rental. We rent the good stuff. So we believe it is 4th down. And Oceanside with it, 4th and goal. Yard in the shotgun. Now Greg Wright is going to have a conversation with the official.
Maybe they're all asking the head official what they're going to do for Halloween.
I kind of wonder if we're even going to finish the game. I kind of wonder if is a protest being discussed? I'm not sure what's going on. But we haven't snapped the football in about 5 or 6 minutes.
I know he's upset that they didn't get a penalty on the other line. Coach Wilkes, they got a sideline one. He's clearly outside of that sideline boundaries. He's now looking up here to the press box. Confusion on the field, confusion upstairs for sure.
Almost need to send Trooper Bob over there since we have the, we're pretty sure we have it right. We have the advantage of replay. Over there and say, hey guys, it's 4th down.
Oh, he is fired up.
I think because the down marker said 2nd down, I think Chad Wilkes thought it was 2nd down, and he wants that down back, and Timberland saying no. But we believe it's right. Keeper by Yard over the left side. It is all academic. Touchdown, Oceanside. Land Sharks punch it in. It's a touchdown. About the extra down or the situation is ongoing.
We get a touchdown, they're back to the conversation. It must be pretty in-depth. Curious if we can't get a hot mic on it at some point. Would love to hear, kind of the reasoning at the end of the ball game. But Devin Yard following the big fella, smart man.
And so now at this point, here's another look at the touchdown. Yard just follows that left side. I continue to watch the conversation. My question is if you're the official, why do you keep having the conversation?
Why go back?
Yeah,
it's a 3-score game. What could Coach Wilkes be so upset about?
Well, I think he's upset by maybe the administrative handling down there, but and having he thought the down might have been taken away, but nevertheless, I think you finish off the football game and head to the house. 2-point opportunity upcoming. 28-12 now the score. Direct snap again. Yard in again. Conversion is good. It has opened up its largest lead of 18 points. And a little extracurriculars after the play. Another issue with the longer.
Oh, man.
The further this goes on.
This is going to get ugly.
It is. The further this goes on as the official continues to engage the two coaches, the uglier this is going to get.
Yeah. You can even see at the end of this play, Timmy Castaigne's actually pleading with these Timberland defensive plays. I think you're going to see maybe a little extracurriculars. Maybe Devin Yard spin the ball, maybe on top of a player there at the end of the play. I don't think it was in malintent, but to your point, a speedy first half is finding quite the stalemate here at the end of the game.
I got a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on 55 on the receiving team. That'll be 15 yards and forced on the kickoff.
One final look at the fan cam sponsored by Fan Zone. Fan Zone, all your sports teams' gear under one roof. We say it every week, and we're going to say it one final time this season. The sponsors make Friday Night Rivals happen. Friday Night by Crew Chevrolet. The sponsors in and around the Low Country. They want these games on Friday night. They want to support the local high schools, the student athletes, the bands, the cheerleaders, everyone involved. And we're grateful for all of our generous and dedicated sponsors here on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Absolutely.
Week in, week out, our production team has to go into a high school stadium, often doesn't have internet, which is what this broadcast is based on. They have to set up cameras in places where the cameras aren't usually set up and make it work. So special thanks to our production crew that has put on these week in, week out this year.
Number 11, Edwards.
And now after the play, more extracurricular after the kickoff return by Edwards. And this situation's kind of spiraling and due in large part to the official continually engaging.
I got a dead ball. Personal foul on number 8 on the receiving team. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
And the coaches keep moving.
Yeah, and to your point, right, at some point in time, this football game is not giving a testament to how clean a ball game it really was, right? To the production crew, right? It gave these kids all year long the opportunity to play on TV in front of their friends and family, maybe individuals out of state. So a huge shout out to our production crew, but not a testament to how clean of a ball game it was, that is, it does get a little ugly here late.
Both these teams are going to be in the playoffs next week. I mean, they get the loser of Lee Central and Kingstree gets Oceanside Collegiate at the Citadel next Friday night, and the winner of Lee Central and Kingstree gets to come to Kimberly next Friday night. Both these teams are going to be playing football potentially for the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
And could very well play again in 3 weeks.
And for Timberland, you got to love the juice and energy you brought in the first half with that kind of speed on the outside, especially defensively. The healthy Amari Jenkins, you're going to be in any game that you play in this season.
30-12. This one by Gaskins floated out there, not on the stage with the ground. It didn't complete. And second down upcoming. Timberland taking shots, still playing hard.
I like it. A big time touch. In him. 2 on the out for wideouts.
Yeah, we do think it was about down on the field. .341 to play here at Timberland. Oceanside appears to be headed to a region championship. Pass complete in the flat. Kylan Brown lost the football. Scooped up by the Land Sharks. Back to the middle of the field and knocked down inside the 5-yard line. I believe is Grayson Freeling.
We talked about Big Brother all afternoon, and rightfully so. There's the youngster, the athletic phenom, Grayson Freeling, about 2 yards away from cementing a region championship for Oceanside. We talked about taking care of the football in the second half. That one right there is going to be the nail in the coffin for Timberland.
Logan Gaskins fumbled it, and Grayson Freeling came up with it, took it all the way back inside the 5. He wanted the touchdown, but nice job by Timberland getting back to prevent it. But still 3.5 minutes to play, and Oceanside with a chance to tack on one more. Saw a couple of scores from around the area. Beaufort was taking care of business against Hanahan, and Fort Dorchester a 31-7 lead over Somerville.
So we actually just got word Somerville did score a touchdown. Did not get the 2-point conversion to make it 31-13, but it looks like Fort Dorchester is going to continue that reign in the Low Country. Somerville really good defensively so far this year, but
defense.
But you're right. You talked about Beaufort putting it on really the Hanahan team this year. They're up 42-7, 49-14 as they wrap up the third quarter.
One more reminder later on tonight, big Friday night of football around the Low Country. You can join ABC News 4's Natalie Spalla on Friday Night Rivals tonight at 11:05. Scores and highlights from the final week of regular season high school football around the Low Country. All the playoff matchups should be set later on tonight once all the final scores roll in. Have to double check with the brackets, but those should fall into place pretty quickly.
All right, Zeke, you're a consistent staple for FNR this entire fall. Everyone thanks you. Who is the team to watch for as we extend this fall postseason matchups?
I think it's easy. I think it's Fort Dorchester. Oceanside, Buford, both have the opportunity to win state titles. I think obviously in 2A and 3A. I like some things that it does, but Fort Dorchester. Just
the pedigree.
Yeah. They went to Gaffney, could have won the football game. They're getting healthy. Those running backs are really good. Fort Dorchester is the one to keep an eye on.
I like that a lot. But you mentioned a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5A team. Credit to football in the Low Country and what we've been able to cover this fall. Look to see some noise.
Yard keeps it and reaches for the end zone, and I think Oceanside has added another, but a flag down on the play. It'll be backed up. Somebody, if I'm thinking about dark horse, Philip Simmons jumps out of me. I
like that.
Talented at running back, quarterback's pretty good.
Coach Eric Bendig knows the Low Country.
Bendig does a great job.
I think he's maybe one of the best coaches in the state, wildly underrated. He's got that program rolling.
That's a 3A team that could play a couple of weeks of playoff football, and by a couple I mean 3 or 4.
I like that.
Yeah, they impressed me on the hoof back in week number 3. You weren't there for that game. We had an open air hatch like we do here tonight, and it was raining, so we were. It was wild. The coaches were going in and out because we stole their press box space.
Number 3 on the carry for the Land.
Hagedon over the left side, back inside the 5-yard line after the holding penalty.
Tackled by number 23.
He talked about it. That Trey Brown third down play was a huge moment in the game for Oceanside to really get out into a good start. But I think this guy was the piece of the game that really made an impact. Obviously, the touchdowns, go check the box score. Edward Rodenbach was that guy. But Zach Hagedon was a dude that really did play after a big play. It would have been only right for him to find the end zone there.
Second and goal, we think. Rodenbach going to add one to it tonight. Touchdown for the senior. Beg your pardon, Edward Rodenbach, junior quarterback, but his third rushing touchdown of the night powers it in.
I tried technical college touchdown. We got teased a couple times early in the first half. We did not have a lack thereof in the second half.
Plenty of offense, most of it by Oceanside here in the second half.
Hey, I see a field goal.
We're going to see a PAT. Quinn Mahoney out to kick for Oceanside. Bangs it right. Don't ask. I know exactly what you're thinking. Why not every time?
I don't know. Hey,
especially if you get that first stop on the PAT and you get to 14 if it's consistent. But
yeah.
That's something that you're going to do. If you're in a 6-6 game in the state playoffs and you're in the final 5 minutes, you might kick the PAT instead of going for 2.
In this analytical world of football, I understand sometimes if you have the opportunity to go get 2, go get you 2. I think especially at the high school level, some of the incredible students that we've seen this fall, right? Sometimes, special teams can always be a question, so you never really know, especially like you said, we don't get to do a ton of homework, but it's a big-time field goal, almost as impressive as the one we saw at halftime, but
you asked me about another team that I think would be interesting. Oceanside, little onside kick here. And I think Timberland jumped on it.
They did. That might ruffle some feathers over on that Timberland sideline.
I think that is more just to get on the football, take a knee, and get out of here.
Be done.
Yeah, I think that was more what that is. Maybe a couple of incomplete passes and another change of possession or two. Goose Creek, good quarterback. 3 or 4 good athletes out wide. If they get in a shootout with somebody, they could win 2 games in the playoffs.
They talk about pedigree.
Yeah, right? Fort, Somerville, that all the schools. Goose Creek was intriguing to me the night I saw them against Cane Bay. But Fort jumps out at me, and obviously Beaufort and Oceanside. But those are the easy ones.
I know, right? I like it. Go ahead, give me the deep dive. You're our college football connoisseur here in the Low Country when it comes to high school, baby.
First season doing this, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun to. The thing I think I've enjoyed most this year is the undersized high school football player that just is
a gamer.
He's just tougher than a bag of rocks. I mean,
nails.
Just
gamers.
Tooth and nail. The 5'9" linebacker that weighs 170 pounds and hits you like he's an NFL guy.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beautiful part about
that's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
There's a good look at Chad Wilkes. He has this #1 Oceanside Land Shark football team, Oceanside Collegiate football in the right direction as they head to the postseason. And don't sleep on Timberland in the postseason. 2A football team, a lot of really nice pieces. They might have to go through Oceanside again, and that would be tough. But I wouldn't be shocked to see these two teams playing again in 3 weeks.
Just a lot of weapons, right? If they can figure out how offensively they can isolate Gavin Edwards, even Keyshawn Brown in open space. Tough to tackle. You saw it on special teams all night tonight. Give them a lot of open space. They're going to thrash you.
And Timberland's been a different football team to me tonight because I didn't see when I saw them against Phillips Simmons, they did not have Jenkins and they did not have Sumter, who have both of their touchdowns tonight.
Absolutely.
Edwards had the catch, but Jenkins set it up.
I think Jenkins is going to be a guy, especially, as we go into these late signing days. He's going to be a guy that's going to find a home. We mentioned Charleston Southern with an offer, Old Dominion, Georgia State with an offer, a really great FCS team. He's going to find himself a home. He can play a lot on Saturdays in the future.
Yeah, you give me a bus full of Omari Jenkins on offense and defense, and I'll show you how to win a football game.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself. He's done it on 3. Hey, didn't even mention. Let's see the kid kick off at the next level, too. He's done it on the kick game as well.
I'm not sure he's got that skill set for the next level, but he's going to be on a football field on Saturday somewhere. Shrine Bowl invitee. Little run this way for Amir Milligan. Amir Milligan had a touchdown the first time I saw Timberland on Friday Night Rivals this year, and he hadn't had a touch tonight. So it tells you that this is a different Timberland team than back in September in the right direction.
Absolutely. Talked about the undersized guy, too. How about that big-time hit from Tucker Swisher? Seen him on the offensive side running the football all night, but with Vaughn Blue down, he's doing a lot of different things. There's your guy right there, plays both sides of the ball. Gritty, senior, looking to go out with a ring. This team might have the pieces to do it.
Gaskins off his back foot, flips it over the middle, complete, but not for much to his tight end. That's Deontay Moore.
Number 35.
Final minute of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Jack, we've done this 3 or 4 times this season. Hopefully this won't be the last.
It was an absolute pleasure learning a lot from you, man. Thank you so much.
Enjoyed having you.
For the Timberland Wolves.
It's been a good season on Friday Night Rivals. Our buddy Trooper Bob has been with us most of the year. Didn't think he was going to come back after that first game at Phillips Simmons, standing in 6 inches of water all night. Took about 3 days for everybody to dry out. One final snap. Edwards keeps it. He's going to run right with it. And stopped on the front. That was really just to buy time. They let the clock run down after the play. And Oceanside, they capture the region title. 4-0 in the region, a perfect season there. 8-1 on the year. They're the #1 team in the state. They have loftier goals. 37-12, our final. Oceanside Collegiate wins the final game of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Back with the trophy presentation down on the field with the Land Sharks and Trooper Bob after this break.
Where do you want him?
All right, I'm down here with the player of the game also. And, Coach, your take on the second half, a lot different than the first.
Whole lot better. We knew we just had to execute the same game plan. The players did exactly what I asked them to do, which is battle back from adversity. Really proud of them. It's a really good jumping off point for the playoffs.
Appreciate it, Coach. Here's your trophy. Congratulations on the big win. You guys get excited
Well, Oceanside Collegiate celebrating getting a trophy tonight. They have loftier goals, #1 team in 2A. Their sights are now set on a state championship. Jack, enjoyed it, buddy.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Zeke, and the FNR crew. Incredible set.
Season number 13 for Friday Night Rivals in the book. One more time, join ABC News 4 Scotty Eisberg and Natalie Spalla on Friday Night Rivals tonight at 11:05. Scores and highlights. Final night of regular season high school football from throughout the Low Country. The playoffs are here for Jack DeLongshaw and Trooper Bob. I'm Zeke Beam. So long from Timberland High School. 37-12. Oceanside Collegiate a winner tonight. Been a blast. Season number 13 of Friday Night Rivals in the books. Enjoy the playoffs, everybody.